Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, a Disney legend is retiring. A huge eggstraviganza is coming to the resort this year. Disneyland honors longtime cast members.
New Orleans Square is getting reshaped. We talk about our experience at the park and Teresa and Vern's wedding and more. DL Weekly starts now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome aboard the DL Weekly podcast. Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding. If this is your first time listening, we hope you'll check out our website at DLWeekly.net. If you have more time to spend, becoming an official weekly tier at DLWeekly.net/support is an especially good value. Thanks for traveling with us today, and we hope you have a happy and memorable listen to this week's episode.
Hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of March 30th, 2022. I'm Teresa Urban.
And I'm Teg Bushman. We want to send a shout out and a big thank you to Marie W., Derek J., Stephen and Debbie W., and Kendall M. for becoming official weekly tiers on our Patreon. Our supporters get some pretty fun perks like DL Weekly swag, bonus content, access to our Discord community, and more. If you would like some more Disney magic in your day, head on over to DLWeekly.net/support to join the community.
I do just want to do a quick program note here. Our apologies to any weekly tiers that became weekly tiers in February and the beginning part of March. We were a little busy with wedding planning and getting the trip put together, so we have not forgotten about you. We do have your perks. They should be coming in the mail to you next week is when we'll get them sent out. So we did not forget. It is happening. We were just a little busy with life and with wedding planning and trip planning. So
well, when you hear all the stuff we're going to talk about, you'll understand.
DL Weekly logo stickers are now available. We have 4 versions for you to choose from: watercolor, classic white, the Magic is Back variation, and the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge variation. These durable stickers are great anywhere: your water bottle, laptop, or even your car window. Head on over to store.dlweekly.net to order yours.
Now let's get to the news.
It's that time of year again to keep your eyes peeled for hidden Easter eggs around the resort. This year, there are 3 games in the Eggstraviganza. Each board is $9.99 plus tax and can be purchased at select merchandise locations around the resort. 1 game board is for Disneyland Park, 1 is for Disney California Adventure, and finally 1 for Downtown Disney. Once guests have found all of the eggs, the game boards can be returned for 1 of 6 collectible eggs. Redemption locations are at the Plaza Point on Main Street, Elias & Co. on Buena Vista Street, and Disney's Pin Traders in Downtown Disney. The Extravaganza is available March 31st through April 17th.
Well, I know that you love this thing, and we were talking about this recently, that we were hoping that they were going to do this, and I knew they were going to do it. However, they're going big this year, because before it was just in one park, the other park, or in Downtown Disney when the parks weren't open last year. So the fact that they're putting them kind of everywhere is awesome. Are you excited? I know you won't be there for this, but are you excited for it?
I was really hoping that the wedding trip was going to overlap with the Extravaganza, but it did not.
You love these things.
I do love these things. However, I will say the eggs are adorable. We've got, I think it's Patch from 101 Dalmatians. I might be wrong on which of the puppies that is, but I believe it's Patch. We've got the Genie. We've got Dopey. We've got the Cheshire Cat. We've got Robin Hood, and also Marie from the Aristocats. So I think the eggs are fun. I liked the styling of last year's eggs better, and I don't know what it is that I liked better. Of these, though, my favorite's the Cheshire Cat. I think that's a really fun egg. But I do appreciate that we've got characters that we don't see very often, like Robin Hood.
Yeah. Well, I had a fun time doing this with you in Downtown Disney. It was a lot of fun. We actually did, if you go back on our DL Weekly YouTube channel, we have a live stream where we did some these, and it was quite fun. Plus, it's just so fun because it's like you get 2 things in one. For $10, you get to go do the hunt, which is kind of a thing. You get to keep the sheet, and you get this egg at the end.
You get to choose which egg it's going to be.
So that's really exciting.
I am curious to see what eggs they're going to have for because each year they have a 3-pack of eggs that you can purchase. A couple years ago, it was the Hitchhiking Ghost, which of course
that was a great collection because there was 3 of them and there was 3 eggs.
It was perfect. I want to say last year was I think it was It's a Small World. I'm almost wondering if this year These are my guesses. I think it will either be Pirates or the Main Street Electrical Parade, because I feel like Haunted Mansion was I don't remember if it was the year or right before the 50th anniversary.
I think it was around the time. Yeah.
And then it was Small World had an anniversary. So yeah. So I'm thinking it's either. I don't know which one though.
Well, we'll have to see if you're right.
Maybe they'll have both, and you get to choose.
Maybe. I do like that idea. Yeah, because Pirates, it's doing its anniversary
55th.
this year.
We just missed its 55th anniversary. It was like,
but it's not even open for its anniversary, which is even more sad.
It is very sad.
Because didn't Haunted Mansion just open for a couple days before the switchover when they had their anniversry? Because it was August.
Could have been, yeah.
And then I think it was like a week or two later they closed to do the overlay. So
could have been. Yeah.
Anyway, Extravaganza, always cool. I think it's a fairly inexpensive thing to do as well.
Is it just me, or did they increase the price this year? For some reason, I thought it was like $7.99 or
maybe.
something.
But also, didn't you get like a cup or something last time? And now this year you're just getting eggs?
That was a different.
What was that
thing? What was that? What did we go searching for that ended up with?
It was the
cup?
eggs, wasn't it?
No, I got an egg. I got a little daisy egg.
Well, what was it that you got the cup?
Oh, that was
Halloween
the Pluto
pumpkins?
pumpkin. Yep, the Pluto pumpkin pursuit.
Corrine had it. Yeah, okay.
Pluto's pumpkin.
Because I remember
pursuit.
a mug. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, the Disneyland Resort honored 100,000 years of work from cast members with 2 parties at Disney California Adventure last week. We actually saw the tents for this in the Esplanade when we were there. The party featured an open bar and an all-you-can-eat buffet. The cast members that were celebrated were those with over 10 years of service. This included 102 that worked for 40 years at Disneyland, 46 who worked 45 years, and 14 who worked 50 years.
Wow.
Half of the attractions and more than 24 Disney, Pixar, and Marvel characters were on hand. It was the largest employee service celebration in Disneyland history, mostly because they couldn't have one last year with COVID.
Still, but that's just, wow. That's really cool. I actually took pictures because we were in DCA the night before the parties started, and I got to see they had a stage built. We were in Cars Land. There was a stage built at the end of Cars Land, kind of in front of where Luigi's entrance is there. And I took pictures of it because I'm like, this must be for that employee party. So DCA did close at 5 p.m. to the general public both these days. And so, yeah, it was just, I think that was so cool that they were able to do that.
Yeah. And it was just amazing when you take people's, when you take all these people who have worked there for so long that it comes out to 100,000 years. Yeah. That's a lot.
And it was a 2-night party, which is cool. So it was the 23rd and the 24th. We were there the evening of the 22nd is when I saw one of the stages. So I was really hoping, I knew it was for the party, but I was really hoping that we'd see kind of more details as to what the party was. I'm sure it's out there. I haven't seen it yet on the internet, but I'd like to see pictures because that stage was big. It was a massive stage. Yeah.
I'm just really glad.
Let me throw the picture in the chat for everyone right now.
I'm just really glad that because over time we've heard that the cast member parties and stuff they used to have were really amazing. This one sounded good. An open bar and an all-you-can-eat buffet. That's amazing. So I hope that Disney does more stuff like this for cast member recognition. Hopefully this will encourage them to bring back just a cast member parties or whatever instead of just having this one for the people who had been there over 10 years. So, but that's a lot of cast members who still work there for a long, long time.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
A sad bit of news to report this week as one of, if not the most famous cast members at the resort is retiring. Maynard, who has been at the resort since the early 90s, is stepping away from the happiest place on earth on April 1st. No, this is not an April Fool's joke. It's just a very fun timing to be retiring. We were lucky enough to meet him at the Enchanted Tiki Room during our visit in December. He was almost as big of a character as Mickey Mouse himself. Guests were always in for a treat when he was at a location. Disneyland just won't be the same without him, but he deserves some time to himself in retirement. It sounds like he's got all sorts of fun plans for his retirement too.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, if you've never seen Maynard or know anything about Maynard, go on YouTube and search for Maynard. Go just Google Maynard. There's a
Facebook group.
I first found out about him in the late 90s, And I was surprised when they announced his retirement that he'd only been there since like 1993. And I was like, wow, he made a name for himself really quick because he was like famous on the internet just like 4 or 5 years into his tenure.
He was... People were talking about him online before it was like cool to talk about people online like that. Like that's the other thing that's crazy too. Nowadays, that sort of thing kind of happens more frequently.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy that people knew about him and never met him in that time frame. That's amazing. He worked attractions like, of course, the Enchanted Tiki Room is where he was currently at, but he also worked on the Jungle Cruise, the Haunted Mansion, Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, to name a few.
I wish. Now, I've seen videos of him doing Lincoln. We saw him do Tiki Room. I wish I would have been able to get on a Jungle Cruise boat with him or the Haunted Mansion.
I was reading in this article that Mice Chat put together.
Link in the show notes.
That it was a very nice article, but there was also people that, wrote in with their different memories of Maynard. But someone was saying that I thought this was fun. When he was a Jungle Cruise skipper, he had a alligator that he had on his shoulder, like a toy alligator that he kind of pirates have their parrot. He had a toy alligator. I thought that was fun.
That sounds like him.
Mansion would have been a fun one to see him at too, because that would have been such a different side of him. But of course, if you talk to Maynard, that was his evil twin that worked at the Haunted Mansion. So anyways, super fun, super kind.
Yeah.
Very amazing cast member. He will be missed, but we are so happy for him that he gets to enjoy his retirement.
Yeah, I wish I would have been able to see him like earlier in his career as well, because he seemed to do a lot of stuff back then. And I tell you, I can't trust my memory on this. I don't know if I saw him at the Haunted Mansion. I feel like maybe one time back in the early 2000s, I might have seen him at the Haunted Mansion. But I also, my mind is thinking maybe it was just a YouTube video. I'm not sure. But one thing he did...
Was that my life or was it a YouTube video?
One thing he did that... And I feel like cast members used to do this, and they must not be allowed to do this anymore at the Haunted Mansion, was that first room you enter, there's a pocket door that comes out that they can close. From the outside to that inside, they would close it.
Yeah.
Well, what they used to do is they could push on it, and it would screech as they would close it, and it was creepy. But I haven't seen anybody do that for a long time.
You're right.
And I think in what I remember of him, he did that. So I remember that.
I was very happy and also very sad. So when we were there this past, it's been 2 weeks now.
Right.
When we were there this past trip, one of the days we walked by the Tiki Room and he was there, but he was not at the front. He was back chatting with another cast member at the Dole Whip stand. So I didn't want to go bother him. I really wanted to go say hi, see if he was, when he was going to be doing it. Congratulate him, see if he was doing a show so I could catch one last Maynard show. But he actually looked serious. So I was like, oh, I'm going to, I don't want to interrupt you. So I just, kind of smiled from afar and continued walking. And then the next day that we were in the parks, I asked the girl who was in front of the Tiki Room if Maynard was working. And she said, oh, he only works the weekends. And of course I asked on Monday. I was like, oh, I should have gone over there. But again, I'm glad that I did it. Yep, I did. Like I said, I didn't want to interrupt him, but just such a fun character, and just such a cool cast member. I was very happy when we were there was that September when we got all excited because he was standing out front, and then he wasn't the one that ended up doing the show. It was some person that he was training a cast member.
Oogie Boogie Bash.
So I had the guy that he was trained.
Oh,
and for one of our times that we were in the Tiki Room, he's trying to become his own version of how Maynard did does the opening and the spiel for the Enchanted Tiki Room, and he's kind of trying to find his own footing and his own own stuff with it. So I thought that was really cool. We'll see. We'll have to see. We'll have to get that cast member's name. But yeah, I thought that was really, really fun.
Now, I'm totally going to kind of go on a weird side tangent here because we're talking about the Tiki Room. Have you ever used the bathrooms at the Tiki Room?
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Okay. So
not recently, but yes.
So I feel like everybody says that they're the best bathrooms to use anywhere in the park.
I think everyone says they're the best because they're not busy.
Okay. Because when we went to the Tiki Room, Max and I both had to use the restroom, and I said, oh, let's use the Tiki Room restrooms. I've never used the Tiki Room restrooms.
Sure.
So we went up. I opened the one door because I didn't know that they were single person doors. Sure. So I open it up and Max is right behind me, and I step in, and It was not a great bathroom experience. It smelled pretty bad. So then I let Max go in there, and I went to the other one. And the one thing that was nice,
kind of you.
It was one of the few bathrooms in the resort that is just you in the room, which I guess is nice. But I did not think that they were cleanliness-wise, they were not the best bathrooms that I used on this last trip. So I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, I think everyone enjoys them because they're not busy like the other ones are, and like you said, they're more private.
They're pretty large too, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, that was my little side tangent on the bathrooms there, because everybody always talks about how amazing the Tiki Room bathrooms are, and I was surprised because for some reason I thought there was just one bathroom there, but there's two.
Yep.
Like two separate little rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Well, calling all single riders for the first time since the attraction opened, Web Slingers will offer a single rider line. The new single rider entrance is located between the standby entrance and the Lightning Lane entrance. The Disney Food Blog reported that they waited just 17 minutes in the single rider line when the standby line was 65 minutes.
I tell you, I wish this would have been an option when we were there. I spent 3 hours of my Disney life this past trip in that queue because we did it twice, and the lowest wait times when we were there was 90 minutes. So I sat.
Why didn't you just spend the $7 a person and just skip it?
Because it was not $7. They had surge priced.
Lame.
So it was like $15 per person when we were there, and it was a group of like 6. So
that would have been pricey.
Absolutely not. So I wish this would have been an option because this was something that we thought would be really fun.
Yeah.
Because it's new, right? So we were there with all sorts of different people, but one of the times that we went, it was my parents and one of my aunts and uncles. So we all did that together. And then the other time that we were there was with our friends Greg and Nathan, who had never visited a Disney park. So it was a good experience for them. We'll kind of get into this later, but timing wise, it was not a good time to be at the resort because it was very, very busy. In fact, poor Vern never got to ride Guardians because the wait time was hovering around 200 minutes the entire time that we were in DCA over the course of the 5 days we were in the park. So it wasn't great. And like even Lightning Lane on that sold out super early in the day. I think there was one day I checked, it was like 4 p.m. and there was no Lightning Lane reservations available for the day yet.
When we next week, probably for our discussion topic, remind me to talk about our gross miscalculation with Lightning Lane on that Monday.
It'll be interesting, I think, because you experienced preview for next week. You experienced the resort same time that we were there.
We bought Lightning Lane every day.
You had Lightning Lane. We did not do Lightning Lane, so I think it'll be interesting. To see, to kind of compare experiences. It's not going to be a fair comparison because rides were not our top priority.
Sure.
Where I think it was more your top priority with your group.
But
it'll just be interesting to see how you felt crowds and waits were versus how I felt.
What I'm really interested in for next week is we haven't really talked to each other.
No.
Because I left and you stayed and you and Vern hopped around and you guys got back as we record this, like a day and a half ago, basically.
Yep.
And you've been busy and I've been busy. So we didn't really have a ton of time to talk about the trip yet. So I feel like the first time we're going to talk about our separate experiences of the trip will be next week's episode. So that'll be really kind of exciting because both of us will be talking about it for the first time. So I think that'll be a great episode.
With Fantasmic returning in the next couple of months and Pirates of the Caribbean down for an extended refurbishment, it's the perfect time to reimagine the waterfront of New Orleans Square. Walls went up almost 2 weeks ago and work is underway to remove some of the elevated sections of the walkway to provide for more queuing options for pirates and better crowd flow for Fantasmic. From the view over the construction walls, the planters have gone away, but the trees have remained.
So I'm cautiously optimistic about this because
I'm not, because they got rid of my planters.
Everything that they've done with crowd control, they've done really thoughtfully recently, I think. I know you're going to miss the plants, but I'll bet you during Fantasmic times you'll probably enjoy being able to get through a little easier. I am curious to see what they're going to do with the Pirates queue, because part of that is that they're going to do something, but you still have Royal Street there that I don't understand how you're going to cross. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Well, and it's like we said, and we were talking with one of our cast member friends about this. I can't figure out why. Apparently, sometimes the Pirates queue was only open on one side, and other times it was open for both sides. So I'm not really understanding why they're not utilizing that space to its full potential, because I feel like the queue for Pirates, when you have both sides going and you have the extended part that's kind of back almost towards Tarzan Treehouse, does fit quite a lot of people. And I feel like the only time that you really saw the crazy overspill was when they weren't utilizing that to its full potential. So
I mean, it eats people.
It does.
It should be
and
easy.
I think it'll be better at eating people because there's no lightning lane for it now.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that the reason that they don't have it only half running sometimes is because they are going to be adding it to lightning lane in the near future.
don't know.
I hope not.
I hope not either. I will say that we rode the Mark Twain and were able to, and we did the canoes, and we were able to kind of look into the pit for Phantasmic, and that was really neat looking.
I was still thinking Pirates. I'm like, what were you able to see of Pirates from Mark Twain?
No. But we were able to see in the pits for Phantasmic, and I'm very excited for whatever they're doing there. One thing that I did not get a chance to do, and I kind of regret it, but we just didn't have time, was I really wanted to go to Tom Sawyer Island because I wanted to take the long way around with the raft.
With the raft.
Because that's like not going to happen ever, really.
That's very true. Very true. One cool thing, though, that I want to point out is they did do some fun theming with the construction walls that they have up. Pirates did celebrate its 55th anniversary recently. So they have these really fun photo ops. I don't know if you guys...
we didn't take pictures, but we saw them.
I did because I'm a nerd. And cast members were like laughing at me when I was doing it. It was super fun. Totally worth it. But super
that's
great.
What they're there for.
Yeah, they're super great photo ops. So what they are, if you haven't seen them online, is... it's a famous scene. There's several famous scenes from the attraction. So one of them's like the keys, the dog with the keys and the jail cell. Another one's the guy that's like balancing his like stacks and stacks of stuff. And what was the other one? Oh, the other one was Yo-Ho, like them singing Yo-Ho, Yo-Ho, Pirate's Life for Me. The little like band or whatever. Yeah. So I'll embarrass myself. I'll throw. Oh, I don't have them. Vern has them. I'll find the pictures and I'll throw them in the chat, and we can throw them in the show notes too. But yeah, I was a total nerd, and
I think that sounds awesome.
And was having fun.
I mean, they're really big on the murals lately, so why not turn part of a construction wall into a mural?
And what a fun way! We can't celebrate the 55th anniversary with the attraction right now, so kind of fun way to kind of still be able to celebrate the anniversary.
So we're talking about the fact they got rid of the planters but not the trees. Well, one place the trees have not been spared is the Pirates Queue, where the two older trees have been trimmed back for removal. Soon, the trees are planned to be replaced in this location to keep the much-needed shade while waiting in line for Pirates.
The other thing they're doing, too, is it looks like they're going to be repaving that area as well.
Yeah. Well, they have pictures over the walls linked in the show notes, my chat, of that they've like jackhammered all the concrete and stuff.
Which with the tree removal, I wonder if they're going to try and remove some of the root structure and stuff. Maybe if they're going to plant new trees in the same location, is my random guess. Vern thought it was crazy because the first morning, it was just Vern and I, of course. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself, but we stopped. Like, people are rope dropping Indy, and here I am, like, mourning these trees that I knew that were going to be getting cut down soon. So we went over. The trees were still there during our trip. And so I went over. I took pictures of them, which is ridiculous. Now I look at the picture. I'm like, why did I take a picture of this? It's basically a construction wall with these, like, half-dead trees on the other side of it. But you were worried about being a nerd for the murals that they put up for that. But you're like, I'm taking pictures of this tree. But, yeah, it's really surreal now to see pictures with the trees gone, because really it's kind of just they've trimmed them back so far that it's a little bit more than the stump. It's not, all the big branches and everything's gone, so it's really just kind of the trunk. It'll be interesting though, because those were such big, beautiful, unique trees, and I feel like it was just part of that atmosphere, part of the environment. So I'm interested to see what they're going to, are they going to replace them with a similar tree? Are they going to get, trees that are more mature? Are they going to be smaller trees that are going to, need time to grow into this space? I'm curious to see what the new trees will be.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. You know what I just thought of while we were thinking about the queue? You know what would be an interesting way that they could rework this? So right now they have it where it splits and goes into two.
If it doesn't?
What if, instead of having the ramps on both sides, they get rid of the ramp on one side? widen the ramp on the other so like ECVs can get through the queue, because that's like a thing that they're doing with new attractions. So instead of having to have ECVs come through the exit, is, I mean, I don't know where you'd park. I guess there's room there. You could park ECVs.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, well, they can still wheel out. But I'm wondering if they make the ramp on one side and then just have it like swirl around more or something. That would be a good use of that. Instead of having two separate ramps, just have one ramp. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much, I don't know how many more people you could add to that space or not. It's just interesting because it's always been a pinch point there, and I don't fully, does the Pirates overflow from the Pirates queue have to do with it? Yes. But I don't think that they're going to, I don't feel, a lot of places are reporting this, but I truly don't feel that they're leveling planters over by like the French Market to help with the Pirates queue, because to me, logically, that just does not make sense. I think that's kind of just to help with traffic flow overall, because it is a pinch point, and it's just because it's more narrow back there. Because think of like Royal Street, like you were saying, it's not huge and wide. No. It's not like the open roads of DCA.
I will say though, as I was pointing things out to the exchange students while we were there, I found myself really falling back in love with just the atmosphere of Disneyland Park.
Oh, yeah.
Because we spent that first day, and we'll get to this, we spent that Sunday in DCA, and I found that when we went to Disneyland, I just liked the kind of hug that Disneyland gave me of those like narrow, quaint like areas. I just enjoyed that more than like the sprawling. Because the other thing too is, sure, there's pinch points like Adventureland where it's really hard to get through. But at the same time, I feel like even though there might be a bajillion people there, it feels that way. It's still less than what's around you on like the parade route in DCA when it's busy. So I don't know. I just found myself really enjoying the atmosphere of Disneyland when we were there.
Well, another experience from a galaxy far, far away is coming to Tomorrowland at the end of April. Starting on April 29th, Hyperspace Mountain will launch guests into the Star Wars universe. This experience will not be available for long, so be sure to check it out if you are visiting around the end of April into May. For those who have not experienced this version of Space Mountain, it's basically a Star Wars overlay for the popular indoor coaster with different music.
Yeah, different music. They've got some cool laser like effects in there that when you go around, you go up the first lift hill and kind of go down the thing, and you go up the second thing where it usually like turns red as you're going up. You go through the hyperspace, which I think is a great use of that tunnel. I will say I do enjoy the classic Space Mountain, but I would, and I know people are going to like write in and get all mad about this, but I would not be upset if they left it Hyperspace Mountain, because I actually really like that version.
Yeah, I really like that version of it too. I think it's a very good complement to Space Mountain,
because it's still dark.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's a little bit more interesting because there's more things to look at.
Yeah.
And like there's more action, and there's, like you said, there's lasers and stuff. I've noticed as I'm getting older, the lift hill tunnel, when it's spinning, that like messes with me more, and like I have to like, I feel like I'm going like spinning with it, even though clearly I'm not.
I think that's the point of it.
That's the point of it. But like it didn't make me get all discombobulated before. Now it does. So I don't know if that's age or if they've gotten
probably age
better with it's probably age. But so anyways, but I really enjoy the hyperspace use of that tunnel. Too. So much more than the weird twisty.
I did laugh because I could tell that Max was not listening to the soundtrack when we were on Space Mountain, because when you get to the top of that lift hill, it says, prepare for launch in 10, 9, as you go up the second little lift hill that's past that. And they were starting to count down, he had his hands up already, and I was like, ready. Dude, we got like 10 more seconds. Well, the thing is Max is so funny because he likes to be the brave person, but like the second he's afraid, he's still 16, right? So like he's still like will grab onto things and be a little afraid. So we went on. I'm getting ahead of myself. You've already done this too, but we were on Mission Breakout, and we were in a section that was mostly dark, and we were like, I don't know if we were falling or launching in the shaft at one point, and I looked over at him, and he was death gripping the thing, and he was looking back and forth like, where are we going? What's happening? So like he said he enjoyed it, and I think he did, but there was definitely like a panic moment.
You should have allowed him the corner.
No. I took the corner.
I know you did. You should have allowed him the corner.
Yeah. Well, pins fans, get excited. Some new limited edition pins themed to Star Wars, Pirates of the Caribbean, Easter, and St. Patrick's Day have arrived around the resort. The limited edition Easter pins features Sleeping Beauty Castle and an Easter basket full of eggs, with Disneyland at the bottom for $19.99. The Pirates pin has a skeleton pirate sitting on some treasure with the 55th anniversary on top and Pirates of the Caribbean at the bottom for $17.99. Kermit the Frog is sitting on a pot of gold for the St. Patrick's Day pin for $17.99. Finally, the Star Wars pins featuring Lieutenant Beck or Vi Marati with an orange Resistance logo and the word Resist on top for $19.99. Now, just to be clear, I didn't know how to word this in the script, but basically it's one of those pins where if you push Vi Marati to the side, Lieutenant Beck pops out the other side, and when you do it the other way, Vi Marati pops out the other side.
So one pin, both characters on the pin. So did any of these pins follow you home?
No.
Really?
I didn't even see any of these, I don't think.
2 of these pins followed me
Of course they did.
So, of course, since we were there literally like the day after the 55th anniversary of Pirates. So when I saw the Pirates 55th anniversary pin, obviously I had to get that. And I was chatting with a cast member at the pin store on Main Street, and she's like, "Oh, we just came out with this one?" And I saw the Easter one, and it was just too adorable to leave. And it had come out just that day.
The Easter one is cute.
I decided it must be a sign, so I came home with the Easter pin as well.
I looked at a lot of pins. The one now I gave this one to I gave a similar one to Teresa right before we started recording.
I was going to show
there was there's the Disney park. Can you hand me the thing? I want to see what it was called. So there's these bigger Disney parks one. They're called fig pins. And they've got figures on it. And so I got Teresa the one that had Figment on it. So it's a pretty big pin. And I got the one that had Maleficent on it. And so that was kind of my thing. I have a pin that the boys told me I had to get, and I was already considering it anyway. It says, "I'd rather be at Disneyland."
Oh, there you go.
So I had to get that one. And then I bought, Teresa and I both, a 4-pack of pins that are basically like these little like Mickey medals. One says Hidden Mickey Hunter, one says First in Line, one says Single Rider, one says Rope Drop Regular. I have to say I like the Rope Drop Regular because it is in purple, which I love. So I got these for Teresa and myself because I thought, of course, we had to have these. So,
and the Rope Drop Regular also has a castle. It has the castle.
Oh,
in the middle,
there you go.
Double points for that.
So I thought maybe, Oh, and James got me a grumpy one that was awesome because it says, "I'm not grumpy. I'm just surrounded by people that are too happy."
Oh, gosh.
And I was like, I love this pin. So he got that one for me. So yeah, that was my pin haul, I think, this time. I don't think I got anything else.
Maybe we'll talk about the rest of the pins I ended up with. I ended up with a lot of pins this
Oh my
trip.
goodness. Did you trade?
Pins. I did.
And?
Oh, I did
well?
really great trades. I showed you my best trade, which was
share
the Disneyland D with Maleficent on it pin. I was like beside myself that I was able to trade for that pin with a cast member.
I kept looking at the pin trade boards, and every cast member was like, "Oh, do you pin trade?" I said, "No, but my friend who got married this weekend loves pin trading, so I always look for her." And she's like, "Well, do you see anything that she would like?" And I was looking, and I was like, "I'm not really sure. I don't see anything that I think would stand out to her." But so that was my line to all the pin trader people.
It's so fun because you just never know what you're gonna find. So
I didn't bring any pins to trade or anything this time. It was bad.
This was like fate. So remember in December when we were there, and I got all excited because we were at a pin trading board by. Where was it? Oh, by the Little Green Men's Shop.
Yeah.
And it was a little like oval, and it had a mini ear hat, and it said Mrs. and it had like the bridal veil on it.
Did you find the Mr.?
I did. We found the Mr. pin this trip.
And you gave it to Vern?
Of course I had to trade to give Vern the Mr. pin. Never have I seen this pair of pins in the last 2 trips.
That's awesome.
I found mine and then I found his. I was like, well, I have to trade for this.
There you go.
Fate. Well, this next story is something that we saw ourselves while visiting the resort last week. The new Disney Vacation Club, or DVC Tower, has started vertical construction. When completed, the new tower will stand 12 stories high and add 350 timeshare villas to the resort. No date on when this tower is scheduled to be completed.
Now, were you worried? So, spoiler for our discussion topic in a few minutes here, but Teresa, for her wedding, got to stay in this amazing room, which I won't give any details about, but it was in the tower that's next to where this was being built. And I was hoping upon hope that you would not get a room that faced this because I figured it would just be like and like cranes, but they were actually pretty quiet.
Never did I hear any construction.
Even the knocking down the AMC theater stuff.
Never did we hear any construction noise.
Yeah.
Which for the wedding, that was also a possibility of concern too. But I decided since we got married on a Sunday morning, we were less likely to have construction work happening during the ceremony than if we got married, say, in the middle of the week sometime.
Did you hear anything while you were getting married? Did you hear any weird noises or anything that was happening in the background? Because I did, and I almost murdered somebody. So I'm trying to listen to you two read your vows. That's probably why you weren't hearing it. But I was standing there. I was Teresa's man of honor, and I was trying to hear them. And I could hear Vern well because he was facing me. Yeah. But I was trying to hear you better. And where that gate is that goes to like the downtown Disney area over there, like the gate that was near your venue.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that noise? And I turn over and it's a cast member with a leaf blower.
And you're just death
and I was like, I really want to just like prance over there and be like, excuse me, sir, we're having a wedding. Can you come back in like 15 minutes?
I'm actually surprised the day of planner.
Well, we'll talk about
the day of coordinator and the planner.
We'll talk about my stress for your wedding when we get to it in a few minutes.
That's funny. Nope, I did not notice the leaf blower.
That's good because I was like, really? Anyway, all the stuff that I thought you would have worried about, spoiler alert for the discussion topic, you did not worry about. So, but we'll get into it. I think it was a really great time. Well, last week, Magic Key holders were able to pick up a free souvenir at Disney California Adventure. Teresa did, but I didn't. A Magic Key holder themed reusable straw was given out to key holders on March 21st, 23rd, and 24th. The straw came in a blue carrying case with a carabiner clip on one end and unscrews to reveal the straw. The straw itself is blue and splits into 3 pieces, which screw together to make the full-length straw. It even came with the straw cleaner.
It did. It's a cute little tiny straw cleaner. I think it's interesting.
I wish you could have got me one, but I saw all the paperwork were like 1 per pass holder.
And I was going to ask.
Isn't there a huge line, too?
No. I apparently timed this perfectly because I walked right up. No problem. They scanned. So what they did, you walked up, they scanned your pass. It did say like all pass holders need to be present. So I couldn't even like swipe over to your pass and have them scan yours too. And then when I got to the place where they were actually handing the straws out, I was about to ask until I realized that there was another guest going back and forth with one of the cast members that was handing them out about. It sounded like she was trying to get straws for other people and was this kind of like back and forth. And so I'm like, I'm not going to be that person times 2 since they're already having, doing this. So I just. So in all fairness, I didn't actually ask, but all signs pointed to a very hard no.
You know what I would have thought? What's cool about my name is you don't know if it's a guy or a girl's name. So technically, you could have gone through later and shown my pass.
That's true. I didn't think
and then
about
they probably would have been like,
sneaky like that.
Oh, tag. Unless my picture came up, because that might come up on their scanner.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like generally when I've seen them scan, it just turns into a giant green check mark. Like, yes, it's fine.
Yeah.
So
well, and I didn't try to be sneaky and go through the line a second time with my pass.
I mean, that's probably the right for anybody listening. That was probably the right answer. But I'm just sad because I wanted one of these reusable straws. But that's okay.
They were good. I didn't, and I'll be 100% honest. We just happened to be in DCA the afternoon of March 21st, and we were doing something. Oh, Vern and Aaron were trying this beer back in the beer garden that they were very, very excited about. I grabbed food from one of the DCA cart or one of the food and wine festival carts, and they were walking back, and what was I doing? I was like, I'm going to go do. Somehow I remembered the straw randomly, and so I'm like, I'm going to go run over and do that. I'll meet you guys over by, because the Fat Cat Swingers were playing. So I'll meet you guys over by the band. I'm going to run over and do that. So yeah, I walked over there and there's nobody over there. So I don't even know what at that moment in time reminded me that the straw thing was happening then and any of that stuff. It was just...
Because I thought I saw one of the days, there was like
magic.
a 2-hour-long line for it or
There was
something.
crazy long lines other times, so I don't know how I accidentally timed it super well.
They knew you were getting married, and they spread the waters for you.
Yeah, that must have been it. But it's a fun straw. I do think once I get it washed and ready to go, I do think I might. Because the other nice thing is it's compact. I've seen other travel straws that the carrying case is
huge,
more bulky. But I've not seen a straw like this where it's 3 separate pieces, because all the other ones are silicone ones that kind of like fold. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this one's a little different. The screwing it together parts are actually quite long, so it does take a little bit to get it all put together, but seems like a nice straw.
I think that'll be better than the silicone ones, though, because I always worry the silicone ones that like that's where they're gonna like break.
Oh.
So
yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, good point.
Psst, avast there. Here comes seeking questions and long-lost Disney information, eh? Sure, you come to the proper place, but keep a weather eye open, mates, and hold on tight, with both hands, if you please. There be squalls ahead, and James and Vern waiting for them what don't answer correctly.
Welcome to Trivia Land. How we feeling tonight? We ready for some good questions?
I mean, I feel like we should have it fresh in our minds, but I'm guessing that it probably won't be things that we necessarily experience that we'll be asked about, but...
Bring it!
Let's do it.
All right. I'm excited. These are some good ones.
Just remember, Vern, she's your wife now.
True. Everything's so different
We did
now.
file the paperwork, too, so it's official even.
It's official?
Ooh.
You got that official stamp?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. All right. Well, these are all listener submitted, so I can't really be held responsible.
Oh, okay.
So, your first question from listener Om D. What brand of locks are used on the Haunted Mansion?
What brand of locks?
There's locks. That
was kind of my thought, too. Like, where are... like?
I'm just going to throw out what the first came into my mind. It's like Gracie locks or something like that. Because I'm guessing it's thematic.
Oh.
Because otherwise I would say probably Master Lock is like the the gold standard.
So
but I'm going to say like
Master
Gracie. Oh, Master Gracie locks. That's even better. It's like a play on
Let's do Master Gracie locks. Master Gracie brand.
That's clever if that's true.
And are those your final answers?
Or they're like ball and chain, or I don't know. I have no idea. Where are the locks?
Yeah,
I feel like
do you know where the locks?
I feel like a terrible person. Are you talking about like in the hallway of doors?
It's not referenced in the question, but to my memory, in the hallway of doors, and also on the gate going into the cemetery.
Gate
yeah,
going
that
into the
makes sense.
cemetery. That makes sense. Yeah,
this time we were too distracted by his beard.
we were. Wasn't it distracting? Like I couldn't look at anything but...
Only because you pointed it out, and then that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
What did I miss with the beard?
The gravedigger has...
The caretaker did not used to have a beard. And then when he came back after Jack Skellington and his crew went away, he suddenly had a beard.
And a cast member said that it has not specifically been like storied, but
their thought.
She thought that it was part of that inclusivity key of one of the things that cast members can have now is facial hair, so it was kind of like a nod to that.
Huh.
Maybe. That's just was her take on it.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that's interesting, I still don't understand why nobody's talked about it. It's like, we don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about the caretaker's facial hair. Isn't it weird that nobody's like...
Well, the cast members that work the attraction don't even know.
Anything that happens in Disneyland, right? The light is missing. The half and half light is missing for a day. The whole world blows up.
Yep.
Well, the whole Disney World blows up about this light. No radio silence on the...
Do you know why?
The new beard.
I think because the beard is more like the banjo question we had, where
that could be.
People probably aren't... They're like, I don't remember. Did he have a beard before? Like, it wasn't something that was obvious. If something changed with the singing busts or with the hitchhiking ghosts, I think people would catch it. But there's so much to see in that area.
Yeah.
Or is this like a Mandela effect of did he have a beard or not?
No, we looked at videos. He did not have a beard previously.
Verified
so
there
it's
was
not
not
a
a beard
Mandela effect. He
previously.
definitely did not.
Yes,
Definitely did not have a beard
Definitely
before.
did not have a beard.
Okay. Well, your second question submitted by listener Elsa.
That went all over the place.
In the auction scene of Pirates of the Caribbean, there are 4 townspeople in line to auction their possessions. Mm-hmm. Each person is holding one thing. Mm-hmm. What are those 4 items?
There's a grandfather clock.
And he's got on his back.
There's a
like
photo.
A bust.
Oh, a bust.
There's like a bust. Yeah, there's like a
There's a giant painting, yep.
And is there like jewels or something? Like jewelry is what I'm going to say the other thing is.
I will hitch my wagon to your horse on that one. I was sad this trip. I didn't ride any Main Street vehicles. But yeah, I guess that's...
What does that have to do with the pirates?
Because we're talking about hitching my wagon to your horse, and I was thinking of the horse-drawn carriage.
Where did that come from?
Thinking of the horse-drawn carriage.
Okay, that makes much more sense.
When you said I was sad this trip, I thought you were going to say, I'm sad I didn't get to do pirates.
Yeah.
Well, I was devastated that the exchange students could not see one of the most famous attractions at the park. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad that it's getting some tender loving care.
Yes.
And that Indy was working fairly well this time. I was very happy with that, too.
But they did get to do Jungle Cruise,
or maybe
they did Jungle Cruise 3 times, I think.
Trying to think.
That's the most important thing.
If it was like...
We did the canoes twice.
If it was jewelry...
That's important as well.
Or if it was maybe like candlesticks and like silver.
Pick one.
It was...
I'll pick jewelry if you want to pick candlesticks and silver. Then
I'll do with candlesticks and silver. Like
we'll both
candlesticks and silver. Like the fine silver cutlery kind of stuff.
Final answers.
Yeah.
All right. Your third question from listener Chris Y. What does the Golden Nugget Dance Hall from Big Thunder Mountain Railroad serve?
Oh, no. I've even looked at this.
Is there a menu or something there? Or?
Whiskey? I don't know. Yeah, there is.
Whiskey's a good one.
Whiskey, beer. I don't know. Whiskey and beer. Peanuts.
I will concur. Except for the peanuts.
Whiskey. I'm going to say whiskey and beer. It's probably like whiskey and I don't know.
I don't know either.
The sad thing is I always look over at that area and notice all the details, but it doesn't stick apparently.
I don't. Usually what happens is I go through the skeleton and we start to make that turn and I turn to whoever we're riding with and I talk to them about the ride.
God, I like to look at all this stuff because there's a lot of detail over in that town.
It's really hard to not keep talking about stuff we're going to talk about. But the first time we rode Big Thunder, the smoke effects weren't working in the last scene.
Oh,
and
really?
The second time they were working. It was the next day. I was like, yes.
Oh.
I'm glad that they're fixing stuff.
I didn't have any bad ride experiences.
Did you ride Indy?
No.
The moving effect was still not working, but the boulder was spinning. That's all we got, Vern.
That's your final answers?
Yeah.
So that was whiskey and beer?
Whiskey and beer, yep.
Whiskey and beer, okay. All right, your fourth question from listener Donna S. What attraction was added to Disneyland in June 1972?
What attraction was added?
June of 1972. So it was after the Haunted Mansion.
Early 70s.
It wasn't the Country Bear Jamboree, was it?
I have no idea.
I think it was, because it premiered in Disney World, and then they brought it to Disneyland, and Disney World opened in 71. I'm going to say the Country Bear Jamboree. And if that's right, that came totally out of the air.
Self high five?
Yeah.
If it's right?
Yeah. Good job, Tag. Clap.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Can we have a hint? Is it still open?
No.
In 2022, no, it is not there.
I'm trying to think, okay, when did the Skyway buckets open? When did
That was all earlier.
Was it earlier?
The Skyway buckets were before the Matterhorn.
No.
Yes.
Were they before the Matterhorn?
Yeah, because one of the stations was on that hill before they built the Matterhorn around it.
Oh, okay. I thought that was kind of...
Nope. Skyway buckets were there forever. I think they opened in 57 or something.
Mm. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna hitch to my wagon to you and do a...
Not to my horse,
jamboree.
but to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, you're pulling us along.
Great. I hope you don't want to get there fast.
So you're both going with Country Bear Jamboree?
Yeah.
All right, final answer.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. And your bonus question from listener Elise K. What mollusk has historically appeared in the Main Street Electrical Parade?
Mollusk. What's a mollusk?
Like a like a clam or like a shrimp or like a, I don't know, it's a sea creature.
Is it the snail?
Oh, it's got to be the snail. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, little.
Yep. You're right. It's the snail. I love the snail.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the snail.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's the snail and the turtle.
And the
I'm so
there used to be a ladybug.
I'm so excited for. I know you're not, but I am excited for Main Street Electrical Parade. I think they're so cute.
The music's great. It's just bring back Paint the Night.
Okay. Well, listeners, how do you think they did? How did you do listening at home? Stick around until after tonight's discussion topic, and we can all find out together.
Well, this week for our discussion topic, of course, Teresa and Vern got married.
We did. We got married on March 20th, 2022 at 9:30 a.m.
with a leaf blower.
I mean,
in the
I guess
background.
I don't know if that was the exact moment that we said I do, but that was when the wedding started. Was at 9:30 a.m.
So let's try to kind of keep it in order. I know that I'm really bad at this. So Teresa's going to talk for a while because I was not there for the first couple days that she was there. So tell us about your first couple days before I showed up.
Yeah, sure. So Vern and I flew in late Wednesday night. So we got there Wednesday the 16th. We didn't actually get to we stayed at the Howard Johnson. Didn't actually get there until, it was like 1 a.m. California time, meaning 3 a.m. Wisconsin time. And room was excellent. We had a room in building 2, which was their newly renovated building.
I do want to say, if you go to our website, DLWeekly.net,
yes,
there are discount codes to get a discount on your rooms there.
Yes, discount codes for weekly tiers. We're very excited about that partnership with Howard Johnson. So if you've been interested in checking out the Howard Johnson, clearly tag and I love it there. And we would love for you guys to be able to go there at a discount.
I love it so much. I do want to share this really quick because it's so ridiculous. I emailed our contact there because I've been looking for a good pillow for a long time and I love the pillows there. So I emailed her and I said, I don't know if you'll know, but can you tell me the type of pillows you guys use? Because I want to buy some. And guess what? It came back as a auto reply that she's out of the office for like the rest of the week. So I'll find out.
You'll find out
next week.
You'll find out. So our room it was on the first floor and it faced the pool there, the garden pool there. So it was a nice view, nice room as always. So it wasn't a very exciting first night because all we did, we just went to bed.
Could we also, just for weekly tiers who may not know this, because both of us had the same experience, when you arrived at LAX?
Arrived at LAX.
Can you explain the process to get to the rideshare because it is different now? Yeah,
so we flew in, and I think it was Terminal, I don't remember what terminal.
1,
we looked out, I think it was Terminal 1. We looked out, the terminal we arrived in happened to be the one closest to, the rideshare system has changed at LAX. So if you use rideshare at LAX, there is a specific spot that you have to go. You can't just walk outside, get your Uber, and move on with your life.
Or Lyft,
and move on with your life, or Wings or taxi or whatever. It's a surface lot that they've set up kind of crazy like it's all sectioned out and all this. It makes sense, but it's a little confusing. There are signs, so you do have to go over to this special area to do rideshare now. So the other big advice, this is the first time this has happened for us. We've always kind of checked around on rideshares just to make sure we're not getting like a totally bad deal. But when Vern and I flew in, we checked Uber and we checked Lyft. Lyft ended up being $40 cheaper for us than Uber was. And so the rest of the trip we were verifying between ride shares, because the pricing seemed to be all sorts of out of whack.
Yeah. I will say we flew into one of the other terminals, so you guys walked over to it, right?
We were able to just walk over.
So I want to let people know, because we were confused about this. If you walk out of the baggage claim area at any of the the arrival terminals, look around, and you're looking for a green pillar.
Bright green, neon, bright green.
So you got to go there because there are free buses that continuously run that will take you to the rideshare lot. So just to let you guys know, because I didn't know, I arrived by myself on Friday, and they had signs that said like go outside, but then I had no idea where to go when I was outside. So I looked around all confused, and I ended up having to ask an employee that was out there, and she's like, "Oh, see that big green pole down there? Go there." And they're just constantly bringing people through. So just so you know, look for the green pole. I just want to make sure because I was confused, and I want to help anybody who might be landing in LAX also know this. So, sorry, continue with your trip.
No, that's fine. So then Wednesday, okay, so that was Wednesday. So Thursday morning, because I'm a crazy person apparently, I was up at like 7 a.m., I want to say.
California time?
Yep, 7 a.m. California time. Took my time getting ready. We had some stuff to kind of get together because we made like gift bags for all of the guests joining us to have some treats and such for their rooms and to enjoy in the parks as well. So anyway, so I was doing stuff like that. We had our reservation. We made an appointment to go pick up our marriage license. That was actually a super easy process. So if anybody's thinking about doing a Disneyland wedding,
and you're out of state,
all we had to do was we went online. We applied for the marriage the marriage license online. I made my appointment to say, hey, we can be here that day to pick it up. We got there. They told us to go to window 2 or whatever it was. We paid our $61. She looked over the form. She was very informative and got everything typed up for the actual marriage certificate, and was very helpful to show us how exactly to fill things out and all that kind of stuff. And that was that. Super simple. The process here in Wisconsin is actually more complicated than it was for us to do this for California. So that was a relief. It was actually cheaper too, which, that's nice.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that was
surprising. It's one of the few things that were cheaper in California.
So, gas prices, not cheaper. Marriage licenses, apparently cheaper. So we did that. After that, we had the best man was arriving. The best man was arriving, and our friend who was officiating was also arriving soon. So we hung out at the hotel, waited for the best man to arrive. Since it was about lunchtime, we decided we needed to introduce him to Blaze. So we walked down to Blaze, got ourselves some delicious yummies. And then after that, we decided to take a trip to Bowers Museum and go check out the Walt Disney Archives Crown Jewels
Spoiler,
exhibit.
this is one of 2 trips for Teresa to the Bowers.
Yes. I know my way around Bowers very well now after the last couple of trips that we've made out to California.
How was the Crown Jewels?
The Crown Jewels was good. I didn't like it as much as the previous exhibit that was there, which was
costuming? Or
yeah,
whatever?
it was like through the years or something.
Yeah.
The one that had
the archives, right?
Yeah, it was like through the years Walt Disney Archives, but it started with Walt's office and all sorts of different stuff. The Crown Jewels was just that. It was a lot of different pieces from movies that were either jewelry pieces, there were watches, there were crowns, of course.
Sure.
There were a couple of costumes. Some of my favorites was they did have the live action Cinderella glass slipper. We did get to see that at D23 at their exhibit. It is really cool to see in person.
I want to comment quick too. So Teresa has these pictures on her phone as we're talking about this. I've not seen these pictures, so you might get my instant reaction to things as well.
They did have like 2 or 3 costumes in the entire exhibit. Why they chose these specific costumes,
got jewels on them.
Yep, I'm not sure. But this is they had a lot from this was the live action Alice in Wonderland, live action Mulan. They also had the lamp from the live action Aladdin, and then they also I didn't take a picture of it, but they had one of Will Smith's costumes.
Oh, cool!
From the live action version of him as the genie. Some other things, they did have random things that weren't specific to movies. So this was a Disneyland ambassador pin. And then they have this really cool brooch set for the 50th anniversary of Disneyland.
Yes. That's neat though.
Some other highlights, they had Marvel things. So this is the Eye of, how do you even say it? The Eye of Agamotto necklace, which is from Doctor Strange.
Max would have had his brain would have exploded. He loves Doctor Strange. Like it's one of his favorite characters from Marvel. He would have died. We also had one of the necklaces from Black Panther. The two twin necklaces or whatever you want to call it from Shang-Li. I don't remember what that was. Oh, we were pretty excited about this. The Medal of Yavin. The Medal of Yavin that Chewbacca wore. That's awesome because that's one from the first movie, right? When
yeah, but this one though it says that it was from Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, 2019.
Oh.
So this must have been a replica. They must not have the original.
Interesting.
Some other fun Star Wars things. They had Rose's necklace.
Oh,
from
cool.
The Rise of Skywalker as well. Speaking of Rose, the Heart of the Ocean was also there.
I am jealous that you got to see that because that would have been really cool to see.
It was very. It did not photograph well, but it was very beautiful in person.
Wow.
From the live action, from Cruella, we have the Baroness von Hellman's necklace, that red jeweled necklace. That's kind of the center of some of the.
Is that? Oh, that's it.
That's the Heart of the Ocean.
God, that looks cool.
It was much more of a deep, rich blue in real life than it photographed. I got. Oh, they had other stuff like this pocket watch from Castaway. There's a wristwatch from Saving Mr. Banks that the character Walt Disney wore. Pocket watch from P.T. Barnum from The Greatest Showman, which is one of Vern and I's favorites. This really had no significance. I just loved the character.
Admiral
Pocket
Boom.
watch from Admiral Boom from Mary Poppins Returns. Prince of Humbug crown from. Anyway, so there's lots and lots of different things. Here's some of the crowns and stuff. Oh yeah, there's another costume. So anyways, very cool. There was stuff that I hadn't seen before. So like rings, there was the Scarlet Witch's rings.
Eon would have also had his head explode.
Wanda wore in Infinity Wars. There was also Captain Jack Sparrow's rings. Oh,
I wish I would have seen this now because some of these things, it didn't sound like I was like, oh, I don't care about jewelry and stuff, but this is really cool.
Yeah. Cufflinks from Professor X. All sorts of, oh, this was me taking pictures in the gift shop because I was like, I think I need all of these books.
Teresa did buy the books that we needed for the thing we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yes. Yeah, I did do some book shopping while at the
which also caused a return home luggage situation later that you can talk about next week.
Yep. So then after that, we actually met up with one of our friends, community manager Kate, and she was kind enough to. She lives near the resort, so I had asked if it'd be possible for me to mail some wedding stuff to her ahead of time so that I didn't have to figure out how to get it in my luggage. So we were meeting up to kind of do the handoff, and we decided to enjoy downtown Disney together and grab some dinner. We went over to the Grand Californian. We saw the Oscar in the lobby.
Yeah.
We also had to go, of course, stop by the treat stand, and I had to take pictures of all the amazing treats over there. Isn't that cute? They have these they were Rice Krispies, but they looked like bunny butts. They were very cute.
Yeah, the Oscars thing was kind of neat. I wasn't expecting that. I went walking through there. I was like, there's a red carpet. What's this for? Oh, Oscars.
Mm-hmm. So we decided to eat at Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen. We did just do the walk up. So they told us it was going to be about, I don't remember if it was an hour or an hour and a half wait. So that's why we walked over to the Grand Californian just to kind of kill some time. But it ended up only being like a 45-minute wait. So we didn't have to kill as much time as we thought. So we went to the Craftsman bar. The guys got beers. I just sipped on a water. So anyway, so we got our call back, which we then had to rush over because they texted
so everybody's
and
down in the beers.
Yep, make sure you have to be back in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it was. So we rushed back over. We got to our table. They sat us. We were sat outside, on the front patio area, which was fun. So we got to people watch in downtown Disney while enjoying our amazing food. I got the specialty drink. I don't even remember what it was called. It was green and it was delicious.
It looks pretty,
very fruity.
I will say, Teresa told me that she couldn't tell me about some of the food here because she knew I had enough problems with food this trip.
Yeah,
but I'm sure we'll get to that in a second.
Trying to decide. I think all of us, I think I can speak for the table, we were all having a hard time deciding because there were so many delicious things. So Vern and I made a deal.
And had you not eaten there before?
I've never eaten at the Jazz Kitchen before. It was the first time. So Vern and I made a deal because there was two things I was eyeing up. And it's Vern. He enjoys food. So he's not picky like I can be. So we tried this was a chicken BLT po' boy that we tried. And then we also had this blackened chicken macaroni and cheese. Holy yum. I don't even know. Both of them were amazing. So the half of sandwich I got, so I did half the sandwich, he ate the other half. And then I ate as much as not half of the mac and cheese because it was just massive portions. I was just beside myself with these portions. So this chicken BLT, there was 2 chicken breasts on this
Oh,
whole
wow.
thing. It was just lots and lots of food. Very, very good. But the blackened mac and cheese was like the star of the show.
Didn't you say that like everybody at your table thought it was amazing?
So good. Yes. Everybody loved the blackened mac and cheese. So yummy. It had a little bit of a zip, but not too spicy for you. Like kind of like a different.
There's a little bit of heat there.
Yeah,
but...
a little. It wasn't just your normal mac and cheese. Very, very good. Very creamy, but not too heavy.
Sure.
Yum, 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 yum. Then they asked if we had room for dessert, and sadly, nobody did. Because, like I said, the portions, I was like floored by the portions. Like easily, you could split these meals.
I tried
no
2 times that weekend to get beignets at Ralph Brennan's when I walked by. The first time I went over because I was like, that sounds great. And I walk over and there's a lady standing because there's that like kind of like alleyway that's next to it. And she was like, we're closed. And they had like a huge line.
Oh, yeah.
And then the second time I went was like the next night. I was like, that sounds good again. I'll get those. And the line was just, it was wrapped around there and stuff. And I'm like, I am not waiting in that line for so many. I want them, but I don't want them that bad.
I don't want them that bad.
We ended up getting some later in Disneyland.
Sure. So then the next day was Friday, and that was a parks day for us. Vern and I started in the parks on our own. It was very nice, very relaxing start to the day. We rope dropped, of course, because we're those types of nerds. So
you're so derogatory about yourself on this trip.
First ride of the trip for us was the Jungle Cruise. Second ride of the trip for us was Haunted Mansion. We decided, since those are our 2 favorite attractions, what better way to start our park day and our parks portion of the trip than to do those 2. So it was when we were walking from Jungle Cruise to Haunted Mansion is when I had to have my moment with the trees at Pirates. See, there's my moment with the trees with Pirates. What did I tell you?
This picture is literally...
It's so bad. It's such literally, a bad picture.
And like the sun is in the shot, so it's hard to like see anything. It just looks like, why did you take this if I didn't know the story behind it?
Oh, here I am.
Why are you... Okay, I'm going to put this in the show notes. You got to send this to me. But Teresa looks like she's marching. It's a picture, not an animated video, Teresa. Hold on. Oh, yep. It's a live photo, so I can touch it.
You.
And she's...
I was singing along the song.
Oh, my goodness. Yep. You have to send that to me so I can put it on the website.
That's probably why the guy was laughing at me. Because
you're yo-hoing?
Yes, because I was yo-hoing.
Oh, my goodness.
And then here's the other one. I helped the guy carrying all of his stuff.
Oh, that's a cool one.
I know. We lined that. I do have to say we lined that one up pretty well. Anyways, I don't even remember what we did. Oh, and then after that, we decided to go get breakfast. So we went to the Red Rose Tavern.
How was that?
Vern got the Beast Burger. He said it was really good.
Oh, good.
Really, really good. It was early enough that we were able to hit up the 2 attractions and mobile order. So the Beast Breakfast Burger is a 3rd-pound Angus patty, bacon orange marmalade, egg, and arugula on a toasted bun. He said it was very good. His first bite, he was like, I need ketchup or something on it. There's not enough. I said, no, wait, because there's some sort of like marmalade on this. I don't think you want to put ketchup on this.
Oh, no, that would be awful.
Second bite, then he's like, oh, okay, yeah, there it was. And he said the combination was, he really enjoyed it. I got the caramel vanilla cold brew, which of course is their seasonal cold brew right now.
Cold brews.
Yep, caramel, vanilla, and cinnamon cold brew with cream. And I went out on a real limb and I got the potato bites, which are just tater tots. And that was my breakfast, was coffee and tater tots. Great start to the day.
That sounds very Midwestern.
I did talk myself out of, and I'm sad that I talked myself out of it because I really wanted to try the green stuff, and I almost ordered it. I'm like, the green stuff plus this cold brew, that's a lot of sugar to start the day. I know he would have, but I just felt like that was a lot of sugar. So I'm like, nah, well, it's the start of the trip.
We already had that with DCA for the holiday thing.
We have time. I'll come back and get it. Spoiler alert, I never remembered to go back and get it. So I should have just done it when I was thinking about it.
I never had green stuff this trip, or
I
great stuff or anything.
I was excited about the green stuff because it didn't sound like there was the raspberry in the center. It sounded like it was just fully the green stuff. So anyways. And then later, the rest of the day was just spent because then at that point, we met up with our friends. I did go find, so of the people that came, the photographers, our friends Ben and Emily, and our friends Greg and Aaron, who were the best man and the officiant, all of them, those 4, it was their first trip to Disneyland. So we met up with Greg and Aaron. They were in Disneyland with us for the day. Ben and Emily actually had reservations to be in DCA for the full day. So I did make it a point. I met up with them before they went into the parks, gave them some tips, pointers, that sort of thing. And I gifted them both with their first set of ears. I just have to say it was so much fun being with that many adult first timers.
Yeah.
And watching them, like, just Ben and Emily were like the best evolution, though, because I
was going to say, you should tell what happened with them.
They ended up with like the perfect trip, I swear. So,
and they want to come back.
First day's DCA. Both of them swore up and down, we don't do roller coasters. Really, we don't know how much time we really are going to be able to spend in the park, or how much we're actually going to want to do. And I was just like, just go, just go. Going with an open mind. These are not roller coasters like crazy. There is one crazy roller coaster, but majority of the stuff is really not that intense. Just go into it with an open mind. I won't steer you wrong, that kind of thing. So, but they were exploring DC on their own. So, like I said, gave them some pointers. They promptly both put their ears on. They were so cute. I swear to you, that was the only other time I saw them without ears was during the wedding. Every other time I saw them, those ears were on. They were like in it. Each time we saw them and ran into them, so we ran into them Friday afternoon, they each had their own tasting cards on because we were so excited about the Food and Wine Festival. So they went around and tasted all that stuff. Next time we saw them, they had, what was it? Oh, they saw a Disneyland cat that day too. I'm like, it's your first day in a park and you've already seen a Disneyland cat at this point? I had never seen a Disneyland cat. So I was like, how did you... Okay, that's cool. The next day, Saturday, they were in Disneyland. I didn't see them all Saturday, but they told me that they got stuck on Peter Pan, which again, I was like, what? I've ridden Peter Pan hundreds of times. Well, maybe not hundreds, but tons of times. Never have I gotten stuck on Peter Pan. So you've had a ride breakdown now too. That's awesome. They also were given a Disneyland honorary citizen button. And that was the other thing I gave them too. I gave them each their own custom personalized first visit buttons along with the ears. So then they broke down on Peter Pan and got their honorary citizen buttons.
That was a great first trip.
Yeah. And then the final day for them, Sunday, the last time I saw them, they were in line for the Matterhorn. Mind you, these two said that they don't do roller coasters. Here they are in line for the Matterhorn, arguably a roller coaster. And they had a fast pass or a lightning lane to do Big Thunder Mountain next. And I was like, you totally don't do roller coasters. And they so in love with the parks. They had so much fun. When I last saw them, Emily was wearing Disneyland sweatpants. Ben had a Disneyland Spirit jersey, and they were like all in. They were trying to get reservations for the next day because they were in California the next day, but didn't have park reservations because when we first made the reservations, it was already full that day, so they didn't buy a ticket for it. But they were like, we can't leave. There's so much more to do and see. They were just so excited. So it was so fun watching their evolution and just watching them.
Wait
fall
till they go back
parks.
when Phantasmic is running and World of Color and some parade.
I know. Ben confessed to me the morning of the wedding. We were sitting out enjoying coffee on the balcony of the hotel room, and he's like, I didn't understand how you and Tag had this podcast. I just didn't understand how there was so much news to come out of a theme park for you to do this weekly. And he's like, I get it. I understand now. I get it. So anyways, it was just so cool. And I'm so happy and so excited for them that they had such an amazing trip. But I was like, crazy to me that they got so many Disney kind of bucket list items done that first trip. It was so cool.
I mean, that's great for them though, because they'll remember that forever, and they're fans now.
Yeah.
So Disney, our commission check. Did you have anything else for Friday? So Friday, I flew in. I would just like to state for the record that I flew out of our local airport and did not have any plane problems. So James and I have come to the conclusion it's just a you and me traveling problem.
Maybe.
Or you and somebody traveling
Vern and I didn't have... We had one delay, but somehow we had a delay getting out there, for the plane to leave. But we were delayed an hour to leave, but we arrived 10 minutes later than scheduled. So I'm like, I don't understand how we just made all that time up, but I'm here for it. I'm okay with it.
I feel like, so we flew, I was by myself. I flew from La Crosse to Chicago, and I felt like I taxied for an hour in Chicago because we must have landed on the furthest out thing. And then when we took off from Chicago to go to LA, I felt like we were taxiing forever to take off, too. I'm like, did they build this in separate towns from the runway? It was just crazy. But
You're
anyway,
like, are we driving to California? What is happening?
my plane trip was fine. I had a guy next to me, though, who was taunting me because I had been... So I did not get this, but I was teasing James. James was teasing me about it. He had one of the new Mac laptops that I was like eyeing up, and he was using it, and I kept like looking over at it and like watching it. I really wanted to. He was busy. I think he was like studying to be a lawyer because he was doing like some lawyery stuff on his computer. But I wanted to be like, tell me, how much do you like this laptop? Because I want to get one of these. But anyway, I arrived. Then I was mad because in Chicago. So first of all, the little tiny planes that leave La Crosse, you always have to gate check your bag because there's no room for a bag. So I gate checked my bag. For those of you who don't know, gate check means they just take it there, they put it under the plane. When you arrive, you can get it on the jetway as you're leaving, so you don't have to go to baggage carousel. Well, I went to get on my flight to California, and the lady checking everybody in looked at my bag, and she goes, "Can you try putting it in that thing over there?" And it didn't fit.
Oh, no.
And so she's like, "We need to check your bag." So they checked my bag, which the reason that I say this is because I landed in LA, and I hoofed it over to the thing, and I was looking at Uber and Lyft rates, and so I looked at one time, and then by the time I got my bag and got out to the place, the price had gone up like $20. So that... me checking my bag cost me $20 extra in Lyft fare to get to the thing. Checked into the Howard Johnson, was great, went to sleep, everything was wonderful. Saturday, I'm going to start talking about Saturday because you got to talk about like 2 whole days, so I'm going to talk about Saturday quick.
That's fine.
So Saturday morning, I got up, I opened the window. We decided to upgrade our room because I wanted for the boys to have the theme park view. So at the Howard Johnson, when you look out your window, you can see the monorail go by. And I opened the window and the monorail went by, and I'm like, it's going to be a good day. I got dressed. I went outside. It was comfortable compared to the Midwest. I was standing on the street corner by the Howard Johnson waiting for the light to turn. Everybody around me had hoodies on. I was in a t-shirt. I was like, well, I'm definitely the tourist here. Just kind of enjoyed a little bit of downtown Disney. I was a nerd. If you want to talk about nerdy stuff, I got on the tram and I rode the tram to the parking garage. When you get off at the parking garage, you have to go through security again. But I didn't have a bag for once, so it was so easy. Got back on the tram, made the way back, really kind of had an emotional moment riding the trams, which was weird. I sent Teresa a thing. I said, I'm getting emotional. But anyway, got off that. Went through World of Disney a little bit, walked over around the Disneyland Hotel for a little bit, and then I met up with Teresa back at the hotel.
Yes, back at the hotel.
Yep, and then...
back at the Howard Johnson.
So you talk about your morning, because then at that point we did some stuff together for the rest of the day.
So my morning started, I actually went and delivered some of the little goodie bags that we had put around. At this point, pretty much everyone from the wedding, all of our guests were there. There was like 1 or 2... families that we were still waiting for, but most everyone was there. So I went and said hi to my parents because I had gotten back late last night or late the night before, late Friday night, so I didn't want to go wake anybody up. So went, greeted my parents, greeted my some of my family from Arizona. Tag's room actually happened to be like 3 rooms down or something. They were like
across the hall and down like one door.
Yeah, it was very close, so that worked out.
Yeah.
Quite well. So went around, delivered everybody's little goodie bags while, welcoming them to California and to the Howard Johnson. I then spent a couple of hours in the morning in Disneyland with Vern's family. So Vern's mother, his sister, her husband, and her 2 sons were all there. But the only day that they did kind of a short trip. They flew in Friday night and flew out Sunday evening. So only day that they had in the parks was Saturday. So of course I wanted to go spend some time with them in the parks. The morning started out with me meeting up with Vern and his mom because his sister and her family all rushed back to get to Rise of the Resistance, of course. So
Smart.
And his mom wasn't interested in that and just kind of wanted to take stuff in. So they did. What all did they do? We did the tiki room with her. She loved it. Oh my gosh.
Oh, sure.
She super enjoyed the tiki room. We went over. We were going to go ride the Haunted Mansion, but we stopped because the bootleggers were out and playing.
Oh, I didn't see them at all.
They were a ton of fun. So we stood and watched them for quite a while. Very fun group. If you ever had the chance or if you see them in the parks, I highly encourage you to take a moment and stop and really enjoy and interact with them.
Loves the live entertainment in the parks. It's like a highlight for him.
Well, and they're so fun because they are, yeah. They're very, they're pirates, right? So they're not prim and proper, like, the Dapper Dans kind of have a very how do I want to say it? It's a very very polished show, and it's this to this to this. Whereas the bootleggers, they're kind of like, oh, well, what do you want to sing next? What do you guys want to hear? It was much more casual, and it was much more
impromptu,
interactive and impromptu. So it was a really fun show. So like they were saying stuff like they were looking at Billy, my mother-in-law's, she had rings. So he was like, oh, so what you got? Do you want to take those off and I can clean those for you? He's being a pirate trying to get some of her jewelry and stuff. So anyways, it was fun. So we went, enjoyed the Haunted Mansion, met up with the rest of the family, did Splash Mountain. And then it was time for me to depart because I had to go back and help because my dad actually, long story short, doesn't really have anything to do with Disneyland, but I actually mailed pieces of what was going to be my bouquet out. Yeah, I mailed those out.
Not real flowers.
Yeah, not real flowers. We used what's called solowood flowers. And I had a bunch of different heirloom brooches from different loved ones of mine.
Which I thought was a great idea.
And then we also picked up some my parents went and picked up fresh eucalyptus from a local florist. And so my dad and I actually spent some time together and put my bouquet together for the wedding. So I thought that was really special. So met up, did that, and then you and
You came out of the park and I met you.
Oh, that's right.
Because you were so nice to bring me out Bengal barbecue skewers because I did not have a park reservation that day because I was blocked out, I think. Mm-hmm. And you had bought like a day ticket to get around your blockoutness. Yep. And I was so happy because I was sitting out there and she was bringing me a Bengal barbecue. And I saw her walking down Main, like from what I could see from the gate, I saw her coming towards the train tunnel. She got like 2 steps into the train tunnel and turned around and walked back. And I'm like, what is she doing? Yeah. And she didn't want to bring the tray outside the gates.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to do with the tray because I walked from Adventureland with the like plastic tray with my jungle julep and all of our skewers on. So I was like, I got to do something with the tray. So I had to get crafty and only had to like balance everything from the tunnel to the exit.
It was good though.
It was very good. So yes, we had Bengal barbecue for lunch.
I was also enjoying the fact that of all the people that were there, I would not have expected your dad to be making the bouquet. Mm-hmm. And he got some tip from somebody, and I wanted to pass this along because I thought this was brilliant. He was in the bathroom at the Hojo making it, and he got a tip from somebody that you should make it in the mirror so you could see what it looks like. So
do you want to know where that tip was? He was holding it, and he's YouTube. They watched
that's a good idea.
He watched some YouTube videos. He volunteered to help with the bouquet.
And it smelled good. That eucalyptus smelled really good.
I made the group, tag included. I was wearing a shirt that said Bibbidi Bobbidi Bride on it.
Yep.
It was kind of like a light powder blue. Tag had a shirt in purple that said Bibbidi Bobbidi Crew, and then my dad, my mom, my aunt, and my uncle, those 4 were back at the hotel kind of putting stuff together, mostly the bouquet. They were steaming suits and kind of doing wedding prep stuff. So they all got Bibbidi Bobbidi Crew shirts that I made for them too with our crickets. So that was really fun. But after that, we actually met up with Weekly Tier Liberty. Just
also community manager.
Oh, yes. Weekly Tier and community manager Liberty just happened to have an overlapping trip with us. And just also we just complete circumstance.
They had a rental car and stuff, which was nice.
Yeah, so we all went over to Bowers Museum together. It was Liberty and her partner Shane went over and did the panel because we had reported on this. You guys, I don't know how I was able to not like spill the beans because I was so excited.
When we
about
recorded,
this.
I would look at Teresa and she was physically trying not to spit the words out.
Yeah, it was bad. We went to the Bowers Museum to go to the Art of Disney Costuming panel discussion and book signing with the staff of the Walt Disney Archives. So Becky Klein was there, Joanna Pratt, Holly Bropes, Rick Lorenz, and it was moderated by Kevin Kern. It was a really fantastic panel. Yeah. We had seen a version of it prior to the book coming out when we were at the D23 Expo in 2019. But this was actually really fun. This had been postponed because this was supposed to, I think it was this panel should have taken place like in 2020. Yeah. But we were so excited. It was on Saturday the 19th. Total coincidence that it happened to be the day before my wedding. So here Tag and I are, Bibbidi Bobbidi Bride, Bibbidi Bobbidi Crew. So it was kind of fun when we went through the book signing line. With
Shane and Liberty.
Yeah. So
yeah, no, it was really
fun.
fun. It was a great talk. There was a lot of good information there. We got, I'll post it in the show notes as well. Teresa got a picture with Becky Klein. She personalized our books. We got all their autographs.
Yep.
There were some great stories and some great information about how they're processed and how the archives comes across things and how they get costumes and stuff in. So really good. I didn't even care about the book. I just wanted the signed thing. But I was glad that Teresa had bought those when she was there Thursday or whatever. So that was really great. So after Bowers, we went back and we had to go to rehearsal, right?
Yeah, it was the rehearsal right after that. So we met up with Anne, who was my day of coordinator planner for the wedding. So that was the first time.
From Disney.
Yep, from Disney. So that was the first time I had met Anne. Prior to that, my wedding planner, Maggie, was who I was having my correspondences with. So first time meeting Anne, she was super, super sweet, very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Since it was, a friend officiating and we didn't have someone that knew, had done hundreds of weddings and knew everything. She was really great, walked us through everything, helped us with the timing, helped remind us of things that we, do this, don't do that, that kind of stuff. Really, really great. Got everything ironed out really nicely for us.
Practiced like 3 or 4 times.
Yep. Practiced a bunch of times. Super great. After
the officiant was very happy to practice his step out of the picture.
Yes,
pose.
yeah. And then after the rehearsal, we went to Tongaroa Terrace and kind of had an impromptu, kind of very casual, not impromptu, very casual rehearsal dinner. It was kind of more, it felt like a weekly cheer hangout, really, is what it was.
We had that corner table that we had from D23 that we eventually got.
Same one. So we did rehearsal dinner, and then I'd also open it up to anybody that was coming to the wedding. It was kind of also a welcome dinner, too. So it was really nice because it gave everyone a chance to meet each other. So I have a lot of family that live in Arizona that, of course, had not had a chance yet to meet Vern's family, who is all up here in the Midwest, in either Wisconsin or Illinois. So it was really nice for the families to kind of casually get to know each other without having the
we've
pressures
been friends
of
for a long time, but I've never really met a lot of your family. So it was fun meeting a lot of your family.
Well, because, we
don't go to Arizona.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been able to meet there.
But even like your brother, I think this is only the second time I've ever met your brother.
Yeah, probably. So anyway, so it was really fun.
And they have ramen there. One of your cousins ordered the ramen. I was like, is that good? I think he thought that I was judging him because he was like drinking the liquid like you should, like out of the bowl.
Yeah.
And I said, is that good? Like as he was doing that, which was probably like, he probably took his... Really? But no, I was really curious because I like ramen, but I didn't even know they had it there. Yep. And he said it was really good. So I'll have to try that next time. The poke bowl was good, but I might have to try the ramen.
You had the poke bowl. I had the poo-poo platter. And I had, of course, my spiked Dole
really
Whip.
Good.
I love the green
And the dipping
beans.
sauce was really good.
Very, very good.
So
then after that, so then after that, we're like, I wanted Disney balloons, like the Mickey balloons at the wedding and at the ceremony and the rehearsal.
This got blown way out of proportion.
This got crazy. I did not realize this was going to be this complicated of a thing. So the thought process was that we didn't want to buy them early in the day and go all over creation with these Mickey balloons. They sell them at night. We'll just go buy them at night, take them to because I was checking into the Disneyland hotel that evening, just take them to the Disneyland hotel so we didn't have to mess about with these balloons all day, every day. Well, so we go to the vendor in downtown Disney and they have the ones that are lighting up. And so I went over and asked and said, hi, do you have just some of the regular Mickey balloons that don't light up? I'm getting married tomorrow and I want some. They're like, oh, we do, but we don't have them right now. We only have light up ones. I was like, oh, okay. How do I get them? They're like, well, we'll have them out tomorrow.
At 11 a.m.
At 11 a.m. Mind you, the ceremony was at 9:30 and I was like, okay, that doesn't really work. Like, how are we going to do that? So worst case scenario, my thought was, well, I'll send somebody out at 11 to pick up some balloons and come back into the Breezy Courtyard and it'll just be for the second half of the, whatever, not the end of the world. Well, Tag decided to step up and be...
I went to guest services.
Like man of honor, save the day.
Well, there's quite a story here. So I went to one of the cast members that was by DCA. She was one of the cast members that stands at the exit. And because she wasn't handling anybody. So I was like, where's guest services? Because I remembered that there was guest services somewhere outside of DCA, but I didn't want to walk all the way over there and be wrong. She said it's here, but they might be closed. Otherwise, it's over there. So I went to the end. It was closed on the DCA side, but I went over. They have some by the newsstand side, which is now like the photo booth thing, kind of down by there. So I was in line. A bunch of people there. It's also the lost and found, so a bunch of people were like stopping there to get lost and found stuff. And I felt bad. I started talking to this guy behind me, and he was looking for a pair of his kids' AirPods that they got lost or whatever. No. So I felt bad because when I got up there, I'm like, I know this is going to take a while, but I need to get this done quickly. So I talked to Chris with a K. He was a great guest relations cast member. He had just come on at the thing because there was a lady there, and in between the person in front of me and me, like they swapped.
Oh, sure.
So this poor Chris had to deal with this. So I said, here's the deal. My friend is getting married tomorrow, and she wants Mickey balloons, like the standard Mickey balloon. All they have is light-up ones. She has to have it. She's getting married at 9:30 tomorrow morning. What can we do?
Mind you, the light-up ones weren't even like the Mickey-shaped ones.
No, they were just circular.
Yeah, circular something printed on it.
It was like printed, yep. So he said, okay. Can anybody get into Disneyland? I said, I can't, but she can. And so we can send somebody in or whatever. And then, so we went through this whole thing. He called some people and he's like, can somebody be in there in like 10 minutes? I'm like, absolutely. And he's like, how are they paying? Cash or card? I said, however you want us to
whatever
pay.
you need.
Because I had cash in my wallet. I was like, I'll just give him cash to get, we just need to get this. So I'm texting Teresa, like, what color do you want? She's like, purple and like maybe some other colors. Well, all they had was yellow. And so this cast member worked miracles because they were able, Vern was able to go into the park, meet this cast member, which was described to us, like what they were wearing, in front of the firehouse with these balloons, and he was able to purchase the balloons that she needed. So Chris, I have not written a thing in for Chris yet, but I'm going to. You
don't have to. I told Maggie, our wedding planner, about it, and she took note of both cast members' names, both Chris and and Leah, the cast member that met Vern inside the park. So we did pass the information on to Maggie, who was going to do a special shout out to them. So we should probably write in and do a secondary.
Yeah, I'm going to write in because I have some other cast members that I want to compliment as well. But
yeah, so that was Disney magic in and of itself, because they definitely jumped through hoops to get us those two little yellow balloons, which we got a lot of use out of.
Then, like, you went and took care of yourself. By the way, earlier in the day, I'd forgot about this. Earlier in the day when Teresa wasn't with me, I and the best man communicated to get them a set of robes from the Disneyland Hotel that said Disneyland Hotel on them, and I was able to leave them. You can do this. They didn't do. Sometimes they do like packages. You could pay extra, and like when Teresa or Vern checked in, like when they got to the room, they'd have something in the room. But they said that right now they're trying to limit the amount of time they spend in the rooms. So I went and bought these robes. I gave them to the front desk. The front desk put them in the back. And then it was so funny. Teresa was so deliriously tired. She was telling me at the rehearsal dinner, I said, did you get checked in? She said, yeah, I got checked in. I said, was there anything for you? She's like, oh, yes. Because she was just so tired and having to deal with everything. So,
well, and check in, there were some moments that maybe weren't so magical. Checking into the Disneyland Hotel was one of them. So part of your thing with doing a Disney fairy tale wedding is they actually gift you a night in one of the Disney hotels. And so
you say gift you, but you totally paid for it.
But we'll say gift.
It's included in the cost of the wedding.
So it has to be, though, the night before the wedding or the night of the wedding. It's the only kind of like rule with it. So I chose to have it Saturday night since that was the night we were checking in. And then we stayed also Sunday night and Monday night and left Tuesday. But so I figured, okay, we'll do Saturday night because that's easier instead of having it in the middle of a reservation. And Maggie was great. She got it all taken care of on her end. She said, okay, can I get your reservation number? I'll make sure they're linked, whatever. Well, so I thought it was all taken care of. So when I checked in, she said, oh, I see you have two separate reservations. So you have a reservation for tonight and then you have a reservation for tomorrow through Tuesday. Is that correct? I said, yep, that's right. And she said, okay, so here are the keys for tonight's room. You will need to check out tomorrow and then check back in. We do have you in separate rooms in this whole thing. And I probably had this look of like shock and horror on my face because she's telling me that I need to check out of my hotel room in the middle of my wedding day. And I'm like, there's no way I'm getting all my stuff packed. Like, there's no way I can even like check out of the room. What am I doing with all my stuff? Like, panic. And so I just kind of like had this like on my face, I'm sure. And I said, I'm getting married tomorrow. I can't check out tomorrow and check back in. And she's like, oh, okay, let me see what I can do. And so she said that she linked them on her side, and she was pretty sure, she wasn't confident or knew for sure, but she was pretty sure that I wouldn't have to like move rooms and all this stuff.
Spoiler alert,
I did not have to move rooms, so that was a plus.
But
that was a huge plus.
I showed up late the night of the wedding, which is Sunday, to get my tuxedo that I had changed out of in Teresa's room, and the key card did not work, and I was so tired. So I went back down to the front desk and I said, hello, Teresa and Vern are staying in such and such room. This is one of their key cards. My tuxedo's up there. I need to get it. She had 2 reservations, blah, blah. And she said, oh, yeah, they were supposed to check out and check back in. I said, she said something about them being linked. Can I just get a key card so I can go back up there? Well, she's like, we need to put a card on file. So I put my card. By the way, I haven't checked recently, but it was there was a pending charge on our card for a while. But whatever.
They charged my card.
So anyway, so she was nice, though. She gave me I said, give me the key cards, because I don't want them to come back from a whole day of getting married and being in the park all day to being super tired and have to deal with this. So man of honor thing right there.
Yes.
And then I was trying to communicate with Teresa, but she wasn't checking her phone. And I got my tuxedo out of her room, because with the other key card. And then I waited in the lobby by the cool big thunder thing, and I was like, I have no idea when Teresa's going to show up. So I texted James. I said, I'm going to be here a while. Luckily, like 5 minutes later, her and Vern came strolling in the door, and I said, here's your key card. Have a good night.
Good night.
Like, I am so tired. And I was so tired, I was very anti-taking rideshare from the hotel, from the Disneyland hotel to our hotel, because I was like, it's so stupid. But I was so tired by that point, I'm like, I'm just going to call an Uber, because I don't feel like going through security with my tuxedo in this bag and carrying all this stuff. I'm just going to take it. It ended up being really good. The guy was super cool. So, but that was the little hitch there.
Yep. That was really, I would say that was, of everything, that was the biggest hitch. So
yeah,
overall,
everything else went really well.
Not. It could have been worse. It could have been worse. They could have made me somehow get out of my room and go back into a new room.
So we've already teased the big event. We have to talk about it on this episode.
Yes.
Let's talk about it quick.
So wedding day, Sunday, the 20th.
I went over and I got coffee for Teresa, and I remember that she said that she wanted a coffee with bride written on it.
Yep. I woke up at 5 that morning. Our hair and makeup person came to the hotel at 6. Photos and videography were all starting at 7. So I was up
there at like 6:40 or something.
You were there
because I came with the photographer, because they were in getting coffee.
Yeah,
at the
like
time.
6:30, because they were actually like super early.
Yeah.
So it was like 6:30. So I had this weird it wasn't the exact thing, but I told Tag, I said, I've always had this weird thing. I love the look of the Disneyland, or the Disney Starbucks cups. I love like the little magic.
I didn't get Starbucks, though.
I know. They had like the little magic stuff on it. And so I'm like, I just really want a cup of coffee that has bride written on it. So it wasn't the Starbucks cup, because we got the coffee from the Disneyland Hotel.
There's a coffee shop there, yep.
But they did write bride, and they did, instead of just a regular old dot, they made it a little Mickey. It was super cute.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed my coffee from our 12th story hotel room. We had a corner room.
Amazing.
It was beautiful. The view was amazing. The view was, I could see the castle. I could see Disneyland.
We saw Mickey's Mixed Magic from it.
Yeah, we did. So we could see Disneyland. We could see DCA. I had a great front row seat to the AMC Theater deconstruction.
Also the parking lot behind the
parking lot,
Paradise Pier Hotel.
But the cool part was, we could see the castle, which that was really neat to be able to see. It was
quiet up there too.
It was very quiet. The thing that was also surprising to me was that the castle is like lit the entire night. So when each night we got there, no matter what time we got to bed, and no matter what time I was up in the morning, the castle was still lit up in the pinks and blues.
That's cool.
Which was surprising. Same thing with Cadillac Range, was lit up the entire night too. Paradise Pier also had all of its little lights on too. I was surprised that it was just kind of like, not 24/7 obviously, but it was on all night.
Yeah.
So like Tag said, our photographers, who are also friends of ours from back home, friends of ours but are professional photographers, came and they're like, they were kind of funny about it. They're like, we don't usually like eat breakfast in the room, but like it's you, so whatever. So anyway, so we were talking about their Disney day the day before. We were out on the balcony. My mom was getting her hair and makeup done at that point with Estina, our makeup and hair person. So we were just kind of relaxing on the 12th story patio, enjoying the sights and just kind of enjoying the morning. It was a very nice, calm, relaxing start. So then it was my
I was
turn.
not calm and relaxed. You were calm and relaxed.
Yes.
So Teresa, some of you may know just from listening to the podcast that Teresa has a plan for everything and overthinks everything and stresses about everything. And I knew that my speech was going to revolve around this because she was the calm, not worried about anything. Like, when we did the rehearsal and stuff, they were asking her a bunch of questions, and she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, who is this person that I am here with?
I keep telling everybody that, like, wedding day, I had, people get stressed. Like, weddings are stressful, right? It's a ton of planning, a ton of time, a ton of money, and it all kind of, like, falls down to that one day, and everybody wants it to be perfect. Somehow, and I don't know if it was Disney. I don't know what it was, but
I stand by my speech.
I had negative stress that day. It was amazing.
Teresa did laugh because I had all the stress.
Yes, yeah, he did. It was like one of the least stressful days of my entire life.
You're welcome.
So anyways, wonderful. So then I got my hair and makeup done. The videographer came, started doing his thing. While I was getting my hair and makeup done, the photographers were taking pictures of my dress hanging in the window and my necklace and all this, all the little details for the day.
And then they went down to get with the guys, to get with Vern.
They went down to take some pictures of Vern and his mom while she was doing the boutonniere. They got my dad all set up. So we stayed at the Frontierland Tower, which is
Frontier Tower.
Oh yeah, the Frontier Tower. If you're looking at the layout of the Disneyland hotel grounds, it's the one in the far back. So in front of it, though, they've got this really neat, really beautiful water feature. And it actually has there's a waterfall and there's a geyser that goes up every once in a while. Anyway, so I said, I think that'd be a great spot. We're going to be nerds. I'm going to do a quote unquote first look with my dad there. So I came out of the tower. He was already standing there. They had him all set up. And so his back was to me.
Yeah.
And so we did a fun little reveal and did some photos there with just me and my dad. And then after that, we went behind the Adventure Tower. Is it the Adventureland Tower?
Adventure Tower.
We went behind the Adventure Tower.
Fantasy, Adventure, and Frontier.
Okay, so no lands. Got it. We went behind the Adventure Tower. They've got this beautiful, it's very lush, very tropical foliage back there, and also quite private.
Yeah.
Normally, however, there were quite a few people back there. It was fine. No problems. I will say overall, I was slightly worried because all the places we were getting married were public. It's hotel grounds. We had to walk through the Grand Californian lobby, for goodness sake. I
worked out well, though.
I'm not a person. I don't like attention. I really am a person that I don't like all of the attention on me. So I was really not looking forward to all of these strangers and random people looking at me and saying stuff to me, and that's just really uncomfortable for me. No problems. I felt like a freaking Disney princess.
Everyone was like, congratulations.
Everyone
and you're
was so happy and so it's Disney. Why? Anyways, totally didn't even faze me, didn't even bother me. I was just like, oh, yes, thank you. Anyways.
Well, Teresa and Vern went to do their first look, and while they were doing that, everybody else was kind of in a holding pattern. Well, I kept having to bounce around because we needed Vern's phone to play the music.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to get that from him, but I didn't want to interrupt their moment. So I went in and asked the party, I'm like, does anybody know where Vern's phone is? Vern has it. Okay. So it was just this, I was trying not to be intruding on your moment, but then I also needed to get this because the wedding was in a few minutes. The other thing was the planner, the day of coordinator, she was like, she needs to be here at this time, and I'm trying to get everybody where they need to be, and everybody's kind of got their own ideas of what they want to do. Yeah. So it was so we ended up going and taking some photos around some areas after the nice area where they did their first look, some other areas. And I was like, we've got 3 minutes. We have to be over there in 3 minutes. Yeah. We got to be over there in 2 minutes. All right, guys, we need to be leaving right now.
Yeah, because I had some areas around the Disneyland hotel grounds that I wanted to take some pictures. So we took pictures in
Your photographer thought it was so funny because you wanted the picture because they have the beautiful rug in the room. And she goes, what's the significance? She's like, I just like it.
Yeah, so we went to, we were in the Fantasy Tower, and they have it's new. However, people have already kind of spilled and there's messes on it. It's very beautiful though. But the new piece of carpet that's Sleeping Beauty themed, ridiculous and nerdy. Yes, I know. But I told her, I'm like, I really want a picture with this carpet. And she was like, oh, yeah, that's great. What's the significance? And yeah, I'm like, I just like it. And she just laughed at me. She's like, that's fine. And I said, I really want a picture with these set of stairs too. And so anyway, so we went and did a picture with the set of stairs.
Yeah. And then finally I rushed them over.
Tag took pictures, 2 of us with that stairs, which the angles you got were really cool because you got all these little,
will be much better probably.
All these little Mickey, all these little Mickey elements. And so and the stairs, mind you, are right next to like the entrance to Goofy's kitchen. So we had all of these spectators, again, totally unfazed. I was in this nice little like happy little cloud of my own. So then we went over, took the picture with the carpet. I'm excited to see how this turned out.
I think it'll look great.
It was kind of a weird, ridiculous ask, but I'm hoping that it'll turn out well.
So I finally got them over to the venue, and then I was trying to figure out, because we were trying to figure out if people needed to sit or what, and like there was just a little bit of, like, I was stressing about it. No one else was stressing about it, but I was stressing about it. So we got everybody seated, played all the music, everything was great. Ceremony was great. I had a moment that I almost cried because I was thinking about how long I've known Teresa and how I never thought that they were going to get married. And I never thought I'd be standing there with Teresa walking down the aisle and
holding my bouquet.
Yeah, well, no, it was great. The whole ceremony was beautiful. Your vows to each other were really great. Both of you, your officiant was very good. Mm-hmm. Just everything was great. There was one moment that I was kind of like, you're trying to tell me this now, was your day of coordinator. Right before you guys gave your vows, she came over and whispered in my ear, make sure the officiant moves that microphone in front of them when they do this. Oh. I could not get his attention. I'm like, I'm not going to interrupt the ceremony to be like, get the mic.
Yeah. No,
it was like, hit him on the head. More broccoli. Like, so I was like, you know what? Whatever.
It is what it is.
Yeah. And you know what? You two heard it, and that's what matters. Mm-hmm. Your videographer had you guys mic'd, so it'll come out on the video.
Yeah. I was not mic'd. Vern was mic'd. The officiant was mic'd. But yeah, we're assuming that it probably caught. I'm sure they try not to mic the bride because it's a little difficult to mic on a white dress than it is with a suit and jacket. So anyway, it was quick, not worried about it.
Your ceremony went pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. So we had our videographer was from Blushing Bride. We'll put links in here too if anybody's. You gotta
send me all this, by the way.
Yep. If anybody's interested in planning your own Disney wedding, he was great. Tigran was his name. Amazing.
He was great.
I told him later because I was like, you were like a little like mouse. You was just running around all over the place, but wasn't in anybody's way. Mm-hmm. Like you barely even noticed that he was doing stuff, but he was hustling. He had this whole big cart of stuff. He was everywhere at the same. I don't know how. I genuinely do not know how he did all that, but he did. He was this like amazing one-man show.
I'm excited to see how the video comes out.
I'm excited to see how the video comes out too. And then our photographers, Ben and Emily, from Emily Jean Photography, also were like amazing too. They did send me a sneak peek, and I'm like, when did you even take that photo? First of all, I think I remember when we were posing that way, but the angle and like closeness that you have, like you felt like you were forever away. How did you get this nice close? Anyways, so I'm really excited because I told Vern afterwards, I'm like, I know we had video going forever. I know we had a million pictures taken, but I genuinely have like no clue. Like, I'm really excited to see them because I like
welcome to getting married.
So many of them that I don't remember what all we did or any of that stuff. So I'm really excited to see how they turned out. So anyways, then we did some photos after the ceremony. This is like my embarrassing moment that I don't care.
You had an embarrassing moment.
I don't even know if you know about this.
Don't.
So everybody went over. There was a pre-reception that they had at the Wedding Garden over at the Grand Californian.
I didn't even know this area existed until we walked over there.
Yeah. So the appetizers that they had was this gorgeous vegetable spread. They had. You're laughing at me because I'm excited about the vegetables.
No, I only laughed at because they had carrots for like dipping, but it was an entire carrot.
Yeah,
and
the carrots were adorable. My dad was calling them Peter Rabbit carrots. So they were a whole carrot. They were these miniature carrots. They were probably
they weren't that small.
They were like 3 inches long. A carrot's normally like this long.
They were like 5 inches long.
Anyways,
they felt like full carrots.
3 inches long. They peeled them, but they left a little bit of the greens. So they're very fancy. There was what else was on there? There was asparagus. There was cauliflower. There was purple cauliflower. There was himica. There was
like a skewer thing of fruit.
Oh, I'm just talking about the veggies right now.
Oh, I ignored the veggie tray.
Tons of. It was like the most bountiful veggie tray thing I had seen in my life, and it was just the presentation was just beautiful.
And the mimosas.
There were, fruit skewers because it was a brunch thing, so it was still the morning. We had a cast member that kind of was with us the entire like second half of the event.
He said he was doing it for like years and years too.
Yeah, super, super nice. We actually invited him. He's in our group picture. I don't know if you know that. But
I do not. What was your embarrassing moment?
Hang on. Let me get to... So he was Enrique. He was super, super kind. So he was at the pre-reception with a tray of mimosas, making sure everybody had a full glass. We also had Mickey-shaped pretzels was the other fun thing at the pre-reception. So while everyone was enjoying the pre-reception, Vern, I, and the photographers were back at the ceremony location. We were taking some photos around there. So we had done a couple of photos, and Vern and I have done this before for like the engagement photos, like doing a dip. And I'm a control freak, like Tag has kind of mentioned, and I don't just like lean into it. I'm like holding myself up the whole time.
You don't
I'm
trust
like,
Vern to hold you?
I'm like scared of it. And he's like, it's fine. I'm like, I don't want to fall. So anyway, we're in front of like the ceremony location. It was kind of like in the background, and we're doing a dip, and he's like, just relax and trust me. So I'm like, okay, I can trust you. We just got married. It's fine. So I relax. And you can guess what happened. Teresa falls on her butt. He kind of slowed my fall, fell on me too. And poor Anne's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And I'm just laying on the ground, laughing hysterically.
Because you're like, see?
Just laughing hysterically. And
sounds like one of those
Emily
trust exercises gone wrong.
Emily rushed up and she's like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. I'm like, see, Vern, this is
that what was on the back of your dress? Was you falling on the ground probably?
May have been. So anyway, I just totally like laid flat back. It like was the slowest, probably most awkward. I'm glad the videographer was not there. Fall. But it was funny because Emily started laughing. She's like, don't worry. It happens frequently. It even happened to Ben and I at our wedding. Like, it's fine. I'm like, I'm not embarrassed. I'm just glad that it was just
I did not hear about this.
It was just this little small group of us. So yeah, so I fell. So that was fun. I'm glad I wasn't wearing heels because that would have been worse.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was my like fun little ridiculous moment.
I didn't eat much at the little brunch thing because I knew that you had a buffet for the other thing.
I actually had to go around because people thought that the pre-reception food, they thought that was the like food and like the reception. And so I kind of went around and was like, letting everybody know, like, there's more food.
People were down in the Mickey pretzels. So
yeah, people were really excited about the Mickey pretzels. So anyway, so then we went over to the Breeza Courtyard.
Great location.
And so we did have to walk through the Grand Californian Hotel. So again, I thought that was going to be really awkward. It wasn't. People were very kind, polite,
a lot
saying
of people
hi,
just weren't paying
stuff.
attention. They had like their own thing going on.
Yeah,
like, whatever.
yeah. And the people that were like, they like gave us our space and like weren't, being weird about it. Same thing even for the reception itself. And I'm sure for the ceremony, I'm sure there were random guests maybe back in that area. I didn't notice anybody. But the Adventure Lawn Gazebo is actually like way back in the far corner of the property.
To be over there.
There is DVC stay locations back there too, but I genuinely didn't notice anybody if anybody was back there. And even when we were in the Breeza Courtyard, of course, it's a very public area. Security's literally like right there. Didn't notice anybody. I genuinely did not notice people walking around. I know they were because it's a very busy area, but people, gave us our space. Disney did a really nice.
Hear the people. It was great.
Disney did a nice job of making sure that people were respecting our space. They had a kind of like a privacy green wall.
One of those like rolling shrub cart things.
Yeah. So it was really nice.
The reception itself was very nice. I thought that your setup, because you designed that kind of like U-shaped setup, I thought that worked really well. The fact, like the buffet, if you guys can imagine a standard, like when you go to do a wedding and they say, here are your options for food. Teresa had all of them in this buffet. So she had the wedge salad was one of the things. And I'm sure I'm going to leave stuff out, but I'm going to tell you what I thought were the highlights. She had this wedge salad. She had a salmon dish. She had a, what was the beef dish?
Steak.
A steak dish. She had a chicken dish. She had not a dish, but like out. She had what am I missing? A pasta section.
Yep.
She also had like, you have got me from the breakfast potatoes. These are the best potatoes I've ever had in my life. They had these herbed potatoes.
Herbed fingerling potatoes.
They were So
They
good.
were amazing.
And I wish I had any room left in my stomach to go up and get seconds because I would have gotten more of those. But it was so good.
Yeah, and there was some roasted root vegetables as well.
Tell people the warning that you didn't understand and they oopsied but then made it right.
Yep. So when I worked with Disney to plan the menu for the day. I do have a mushroom allergy intolerance. I'm not sure what category. Mushrooms are a no-go for me. So when I was looking at some of the dishes, they had mushrooms in it. The chicken had mushrooms and the steak had mushrooms in the sauce. So I let them know, hey, I've got this mushroom thing, no mushrooms. And they're like, yep, nope, no problem. Well, I assumed and thought that meant that they would just remove, not put mushrooms in the recipe. But Disney took that as, and I mean, I get it. I see both sides of this. I should have probably been more clear. But Disney took that as, okay, someone has a mushroom allergy. We need to notate which things have the mushrooms in it. So since Vern and I were the bride and groom, they took us through the buffet line first. And I was actually, my planner, Maggie, was kind enough. And it was Enrique went with Vern. And so they had our plate. It was very, very kind of them. They had our plates and we just kind of had to tell them what we wanted and they served us.
That's nice.
So when we were going down, Maggie's like, oh, it looks like the steak has mushroom in it. So I know you can't have that. And I was just like, my heart sank because steak. I love steak. I was like, oh no. And so then she's like, oh, it looks like the chicken has it too. So we'll get you the salmon. And I just kind of looked at her. I'm like, I don't like seafood. And she's just like, oh, okay. And so we finished through the line and then she came up to me later and I said, it's fine. It's totally fine because we had the pasta. I had the wedge salad. The wedge salad was delicious and everything else. Plenty of food. I was not worried about being hungry. I was just sad that I wasn't going to get my steak, but not the end of the world. Worse things could have happened. I would have rather not had steak than had steak with mushrooms and been sick the rest of the day, rest of the trip even. So not a problem. So she came up to me maybe 2 minutes after I sat down and she said, I can't make any promises, but I'm going to run back to the kitchen and I'm going to ask the chef to prepare you a steak. How do you like it done? Whatever. And I was like, oh, Maggie, seriously, Maggie, it's fine. She's like, no, you're my bride. You need to eat. As I'm sitting there with this giant heaping plate of food. She's like, I need to make this right for you. So she went back, talked to the chef. He did make me my own steak. Not only did he make me my own steak, he made me 2 steaks. So then she brought out these fresh made steaks just for me. So that was a little fun, some pretty awesome Disney magic too. Because that I was not blaming them. I was like, I understand. I assumed, you assumed, we were both assuming opposite things. This just didn't work out fine. All I thought was, it's fine. I've got more room for my cake. No big deal. So anyway, that was awesome.
Yeah.
The cake. Speaking of the cake, first of all, beautiful. We'll have to post pictures in the show notes. Beautiful. The cake was beautiful. I just told them I want hidden. They went through pictures with me early on the planning process. I'm like, ooh, that one. I like that one. That's not how everybody does it, but that's how I did it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I like that one. And I brought a cake topper. That was all I told them. This style cake, this style icing on the cake, this cake topper. Simple. I went with very simple decorations. We actually had no decorations for the ceremony because I just felt the space itself was very beautiful on its own. We did minimal decorations for the reception itself. I did hire an outside florist, Oceanic Floral, came in and did I asked her to do a eucalyptus garland, and then she asked what my colors were, and she put little sprays of
nice.
Dusty pink flowers in with it. It was beautiful.
Simple, but really effective.
Yeah, and then Tag and I got together and made some little clear, what the heck were the acrylic displays that we used.
With logos.
Yeah, so we did different things with attractions. So we had one that was Haunted Mansion. We had one that was Radiator Springs Racers, the castle. Yeah. Anyways, various kind of Disneyland and DCA icon type thing. So those were kind of in front of the greens. I was really impressed with how it turned out. Well, Maggie, apparently, the photo that I had chosen of the frosting of the cake, how I wanted that decorated, there were also flowers on it. And so she couldn't remember if I wanted flowers or not. So she asked Ty, the florist, hey, can you leave some flowers? I'm not sure if Teresa wants flowers on the cake or not. So she made the executive decision, I'm so glad she did, to put flowers in the cake as well. And it turned out visually better than I had expected. Flavor-wise, way better than I had expected. I was
super moist.
So good. So good. So the top
frosting
tier
wasn't too, because sometimes the frosting is too much. It was great.
So the top tier, we did a Dole Whip cake. So it was pineapple cake with a pineapple filling. And then the bottom tier was churro cake. So it was a cinnamon cake with a churro filling. It even had the churro cake had churro pieces in the filling. The pineapple cake had pineapple chunks in the filling.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good. Both of them were light, like they weren't overpowering flavors. Like if you
they were good,
aren't a churro person, it wasn't like bam, cinnamon in your face. Same thing even with the pineapple. It was more of a just, they were so good.
Your dessert bar was also very good, by the way. You had a creme brulee, which I thought was great.
It was a baby creme brulee. It was so cute.
Every time I see a creme brulee now, though, I think of Emily in Paris with the guy getting angry and cracking them. It was very good. I thought that the berries they put on it were a little tart for me, so I just took that off, but it was good.
Yeah, the raspberries.
There was a chocolate mousse kind of thing that James had, and he thought was really, really great. And then they also had a strawberry shortcake, which I had, I think, 2 of those.
So the little desserts that came with it were just kind of like these bite-sized things. So the mini creme brulee was probably like 2 to 3 spoonfuls, depending on how big of a spoon you do. Same thing was a couple bites for each thing. So it was a nice compliment. When I was first building the menu, they're like, "Oh, these chef what was it? Wine
chef
country inspired chef selection desserts just come with it. It doesn't add or take away from your overall cost, so you may as well just have them. People can enjoy them if they want, or they can leave them if they want." I want to say they kept refilling the station. I want to say there was maybe a handful of desserts left. I genuinely do not know how many.
Towards the end, everybody kept eating them.
Because a lot of people kept going back up and getting seconds, thirds, fourths for them because they were just that good. I did make sure to try one of each because I was curious, they were the perfect size. One? It was good. I think my favorite was probably the creme brulee, though.
Okay. I was worried that the mousse was going to be too... I don't like a lot of chocolate. I was worried it was going to be too chocolatey.
It wasn't overly rich.
Oh, good.
Yeah. No, I think if it was like a larger piece, maybe like the size of like the cake, maybe that would have been a little much, but just the couple bites was perfect.
Yeah. I will say that your wedding planner and your day of coordinator... I'm not going to guarantee for Disney that this will be the same experience for everybody, but they did seem to do like a little bit of above and beyond with a lot of things.
Yeah.
And they did a really great job.
They were amazing. I mean, just things like Anne and Maggie were both there for like when we were taking photos, making sure that my dress was like fluffed out how it needed to be and all sorts of things.
Got the monorail picture?
Yep. Maggie walked with me to the top of the aisle and she fluffed out my dress before I did walk down with my dad, that sort of stuff. Yeah. Usually that's not stuff I feel people that are helping you, like that's usually something family members or wedding party stuff helps with. So they were very kind. I feel like we bonded with them. We had a lot of fun with them. I made sure to take I was sad I didn't get a selfie with Maggie, but Vern and I, at the end of the night, took a selfie with Anne because she was just super cool. We invited Enrique, who was our, kind of our head of the serving team that was there
head
helping
of catering or whatever.
We invited him in on our group picture when we took the picture with the monorail going by because we're in the Breeza Courtyard. The whole reason I chose the Breeza Courtyard was because of the monorail. Which was fun. We actually were having a fun time, like timing it was every 8.5 minutes or something like went by. Not as loud and distracting as you would have thought. Yeah. When we did our speeches, we didn't have microphones because it was a smaller, more intimate group. So I didn't feel we needed microphones at all. So it did go through when Greg, the best man, was talking. So he just paused, kind of made it a fun little joke during his speech and then moved on. I don't even think it went. I don't remember going past with yours. So yeah, the timing just worked out well there.
I also want to say, I can tell you this now. She told me not to tell you the day of. But, and the day of coordinator. So she took you guys after the reception in the little golf cart, back over. Well, she didn't want me to tell you that she literally just learned to drive it before she took you. And when she was being taught by Maggie how to drive it, she backed it into something. So she's like, don't tell her that I just learned to drive it, and don't tell her that I backed into something. And I was like, I won't tell her, but I was waiting. I was so excited to tell you about this because she hung out with me a little bit because she was trying to tell me because I was supposed to be the MC and making sure that everybody did everything when they were supposed to do everything. And
yeah, so Tig was kind of the announcer. We didn't hire a DJ again. It was a brunch.
Yeah.
My family shocked me. I'm like, oh, my family doesn't dance. Well, news to me, they were dancing, but it was fine. So we actually just bought a couple of Bose wireless speakers paired them. James kind of acted as our DJ. He made this playlist that just played.
Oh my goodness, he was so proud of this playlist too. He's like, I've got like 3 hours of music for you.
He did a great job. So Tag just used his loud, lovely voice to kind of announce us coming in and kind of get people's attention when it was. I did enjoy we're doing the first dance, and
with
that.
Hear ye, here they come, or whatever. And then it was funny because I wanted to use a last name, but then I was like, oh, you guys just wanted to have first name, so I was like, I
didn't even. Sorry, but I didn't even hear you do the hear ye.
Oh, good.
When we were waiting in the
That's fine.
in the Grand
It worked
Californian.
out. But it was really great. They took you back over there. We walked back over and James and I changed. And then I think I'll leave the rest of Sunday for next week because we've already gone on quite a while. And we could talk about our park experience post-wedding on next week's episode because there's a couple days there. And I think even though it's not Disneyland related, I'm sure everybody would like to hear at least a shortened version of what you did afterwards.
Sure.
Because I think that there's people who might go do
our
that.
mini moon, as we were calling it.
You guys sound like you had a really great time. I'm excited to actually hear more about
really
it.
Amazing.
Teresa and I haven't really talked that much since she came back, so a lot of this I'm hearing for the first time when we were separated. So this I think was fun because like I felt really engaged because I didn't hear a lot of this stuff. So it wasn't like, oh, here we go again.
I just want to take another moment to thank the amazing team of people that were there that helped make the day so amazing and magical and perfect. I know it sounds so cliche because everybody's like, oh yes, the day was perfect, but like I genuinely had negative stress and like there's nothing I can think of about the day that I've been like, oh, I wish we would have. Oh, there was one thing later I was like, oh, that would have been a much. Spoiler alert, I was very indecisive on song choices and chose songs like almost the last possible minute you could choose songs. So one thing I thought of like days later, I was like, oh, why didn't we have the song from Cars, like the lighting ceremony song, the Life Would Be a Dream song? Why was that not our entrance song? That would have been perfect. But otherwise,
do you know what's dumb?
What?
We found that song, and I thought that was the plan, was to have you come into that. But Vern said, no, it's this song, because we were just going to do it. Because we talked to the planner and everything, and she's like, I think you should.
Yeah,
and James found it and everything, but then it never happened, and I don't know why it didn't happen.
Well, so because I had picked songs, because you have to pick these songs. So I'm like, oh, let's just do because the song from Pharrell Williams, Happy, whatever. It's a fun song. Vern and I enjoy it. It's peppy, it's whatever.
But the last time I had talked to James, he was going to do it as like a surprise for you guys when you came in. But then I think Vern went over and talked to him, and I think James was like, well, he's the groom, so like I've got to listen to the groom. But we found it. We actually had to find it on a different streaming service because it wasn't on Apple Music. It was on YouTube Music, which Vern had. But then we had to find like the version of it and everything. So
that would be the one thing I would change.
We would have done it. We were this close. I don't know what happened to it.
That's really funny. But I mean, anyways, aside from that, I just want to say thank you to not only you, Tag, to James, to my family, but also to Maggie and Ann at Disney, Enrique, their whole team. They were awesome.
Trying to coerce Ann to come on the show.
Yes, we were. They were amazing. I genuinely had a ton of fun just sitting and chatting with them. Like so much to the point that I was enjoying my time chatting with them. I'm like, oh, wait, like, I'm the bride. I have guests. I need to go talk to my family, which
You're
we enjoyed.
Too, I talked to a lot.
We enjoyed the parks pre and post wedding with my family for a couple of days. So it wasn't, this is going to sound, it wasn't like I was ignoring them. I promise I was not ignoring my family. But, and I really want to say thank you to Tigran at Blushing Bride Photography and Videography, and also to Ben and Emily from Emily Jean Photography, and to Estina from eSpa for coming out and helping create my magical look and just making the day super magical. It was really special. I think that I personally knew Estina and I personally knew Ben and Emily. I think that helped with
comfort.
I think that was very comforting and really helped with the stress level too. So anyways, thank you to everyone because it was amazing.
I still have no idea who you were that day because I was stressing out and just really surprised that you didn't have a lot of answers to things. I'm like, you always have answers.
I find it very funny that, I was calm and you were the wound up spazzy,
Well, it was an important
What did you call
day.
yourself? The Manzilla? I can't remember.
the Man of Honor Zilla or something, because like there were times, and it was the same thing because your wedding photographers had a very, like, they've been to so many weddings. They realized that you were very chill.
Yeah.
And so they kind of like took control. And then Anne was trying to get me to like get you places.
Yeah.
So like I felt there were times
I don't know what to do.
where I was trying to like tell your photographers like, we need to get over here.
Yeah.
But I was also trying not to like start fights with anybody, but I was like, come on, people. And so anyway, so I was just trying to get everybody everywhere, and I was stressing out because I knew I didn't know how strict they were going to be about things.
Sure.
And I didn't want like, guess what? It's 9:40 and you've missed your window or whatever. I'm sure that wouldn't have happened, but like I was stressed about that. And of course, like I wanted your day to be good. And I remembered that you, and especially, I mean, you did great, but especially Vern, who was not part of my wedding, but anything we needed done that day, he was like on it.
Yeah.
He went to our house and let the dogs, like he did a ton that day. So I wanted to make sure, between me and James, we wanted to make sure that we returned that favor that you guys did so great at our wedding. We wanted to make sure that you guys were taken care of and that you didn't have to worry about things. And I thought you were going to worry about things and you didn't. And my brain did not understand. But I do want to share that the subject of my speech was the fact that Teresa stresses about everything, no matter what. She's always worried that things are going to go wrong or things like she didn't pick the right thing or whatever.
Things, yeah.
But this was the one thing, this whole situation getting married to Vern was the one thing she didn't worry about. So I said that it's because she knew it was the right thing and didn't have to worry about it. So I think that's where that all came down to. So I think it's going to work out great. And like I said, I really enjoyed your vows and all that stuff, and it was a great wedding. And I'm not just saying this, but I think after our wedding, I think yours was my favorite wedding I've ever been to. And not just because it was a Disney, was nice.
Yeah,
the food was really
beautiful.
good. The entertainment was good. All the people. Usually vendors like blend into the background. I felt like all of your vendors were like part of the party.
Yes, they were.
And part of that, I think, was because it was a smaller get together. But at the same time, I think it's just because like they were so friendly and wanted, like they felt like they were your friends. And some of them were your friends, but I mean like the Disney people. They made it really magical.
They did. They were all amazing.
So next week, we will talk about our Sunday evening after the wedding. And we'll talk about our time after that until I came home earlier than Teresa did, but we'll talk a little bit about that too. So stay tuned for that next week. And I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about this. And I think a lot of people that want to or were thinking about a Disney wedding will really enjoy hearing about all this.
And if anybody's thinking of planning a Disney wedding and kind of want more, if you have more specific questions or want more details on things, please, I'm an open book. Please email us, feedback@dlweekly.net. I would be more than happy to chat with you more about some of the details. We have limited time, so you don't want to hear all the back and forth planning calls and all that kind of fun behind the scenes stuff. But
and COVID.
I mean, overall, really, really easy, painless, wonderful experience.
The fact that you never were able to go out there and food taste and all that stuff, and it still came together so great, I think is a testament to how good Disney did.
Yeah, exactly.
Looks like we're coming in for a landing, gang. But please stay listening until trivia comes to a stop. And then you can walk to the nearest exit. Thanks for listening to the 8th wonder of the world, DL Weekly.
Welcome back to Trivia Land, where we're going to find out just how well we all did. How do you think you did?
How we all did. I don't know what questions you answered.
Well, I answer them as I'm writing.
I feel like we did 50-50 maybe.
Okay.
I'm curious about this lock question.
Yeah.
Very curious about the locks.
I don't think we got 0 this week.
No. I think we got at least one right.
Yeah.
It took me a second to math on that because there are 5 questions and you said 50-50, but then I remembered there is the half-point system.
There is.
And I'm looking at the scoreboard that I gave you, and actually you did 50-50. So
Holy crap.
well, let's
good guess tag.
figure it out.
So let's find out which 50-50 you got. So your first question, submitted by listener Ohm D. What brand of locks are used on the Haunted Mansion? And you guessed Master or Gracie or Master Gracie. What we were looking for was Yale brand locks.
Oh, the wrong part of the name.
Dang it.
Or I would have accepted Yale in Town Manufacturing Company.
Dang, so close.
It was we were We had the right person.
Yep.
Just not the right part of the name.
Yep.
Dang.
Your second question from listener Elsa. In the auction scene of Pirates of the Caribbean, there are 4 townspeople in line to auction their possessions, not including the woman holding the chickens. Each person is holding one thing. What are those 4 items? You guessed the grandfather clock, the bust, the painting, jewelry, and silver. What I was looking for was the grandfather clock, the statue or bust, a painting, and a chandelier.
Oh.
So
Close.
I gave you full credit because you got 3 out of 4.
Nice.
Yay!
And I could see how silver jewelry can look like chandelier.
You're so nice.
Good memory, Teresa.
Yeah. So I gave you that one.
It's because he's your husband now.
No, because I saw what you saw. Like, jewelry and silverware can look like chandelier.
Yeah.
You're going by on a boat. So I gave
The
you
only 2 that I was 100% confident on was the grandfather clock, because I always think it's silly.
Yeah, because
And I remember the big painting.
it's like strapped to his back.
Yeah.
Your third question, submitted by listener Chris Y. What does the Golden Nugget Dance Hall, as seen on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, serve?
Oh, we didn't get this one, I'm sure.
Maybe it's only whiskey.
Your answers were whiskey and beer. The correct answer that I was looking for was the finest corn whiskey. I gave you half a point.
Yay!
Good job.
He's very generous this week.
Well, you knew it was whiskey.
That's
you
true.
just didn't know that it was the finest corn whiskey.
I think we need
Clearly.
we need to
Clearly
take
it's
Vern
the
to California
finest.
more often, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a sufficient level of vitamin D right now,
Yeah.
and it's making
And
me
Disney, a
generous.
sufficient level of vitamin D and Disney.
And nature. You guys were in a lot of nature this
We
week.
did lots of nature.
I saw the world's largest tree by volume.
We did.
By volume. Which one was that?
The General Sherman tree.
General Sherman.
And it hasn't burned down in the state yet?
No.
No, that's good.
No, it has scars from the number of times that it has burned, but it hasn't burned down.
Oh, great.
Yes, it's an amazing tree. You should check it out. Yes.
I think you guys should tell me everywhere you went, and one of these podcast episodes, I should ask 2 of you trivia about places you went.
Oh, no. Okay.
Oh, I took pictures of all the little signposts at the places.
You can't look at pictures, though.
I will read all my pictures.
There you go.
And your fourth and final regular round question, submitted by listener Donna S. What attraction was added to Disneyland in June of 1972? Your answers were the Country Bear Jamboree. The correct answer that I was looking for was the Main Street Electrical Parade.
Oh, no.
No wonder I didn't know it.
Oh,
Specifically,
and
it debuted the evening of June 17th, 1972.
72. Dang it. It's its 50th anniversary. We even knew that. Shoot. When I was thinking attraction, I was thinking like ride.
And your bonus question tonight, submitted by listener Elise K. What mollusk has historically appeared in the Main Street Electrical
We
Parade?
even had a hint with the next question
Yeah.
being the Main Street Electrical Parade.
That's why this one had to be the bonus question after the previous question. Otherwise, I'd have given it away. So, your answers were the snail, and the correct answer that I was looking for was the snail.
Woo.
With the little top, like he's got a little hat on. He's so
See, you
cute.
confused me because you were talking about like sea creatures, and I was like, I don't know. Is
The
a snail
shells.
a
They
sea
have, like,
creature? Yeah,
shells.
okay.
And as you were asking, what is a mollusk, the only thing that I could think of that is a mollusk is a snail.
That was the only thing I couldn't
I didn't
think
want
of.
to give you an example of a mollusk because I would give away the mollusk.
Gotcha.
So, there you are. No, 50-50, not a bad night.
Oh, an octopus is a mollusk.
Really?
See, yeah. According to my Google search, anyway.
Well, listeners, how did you do listening at home? How do you feel about how Tag and Teresa did? Do you think that you've got the perfect questions that can really stump them next week? If you think you've got that great question for us to ask, feel free to send that on to us at trivia@dlweekly.net.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop and the doors have opened. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the episode. On behalf of all of our crew, thanks for traveling with us. And we hope you have a happy and memorable visit here at DL Weekly.